This is Atomic Shinobi and today I'm going to narrate first part of What If War Demon Kakashi travel back in time for Fem-Naruto. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to this channel. Now wasting no more time, let's start the story.
As he fled from the criminals, Kakashi felt a burning pain on his arm. He had lost everything, including his priceless love. The grief was threatening to kill him, but he had a chance to escape and save them all thanks to this priceless scroll that he was holding tightly in his palms. All of them, the villagers, the shinobi, the Hokage, and most importantly, his beloved. He had an equal share of kunai and shuriken, but he had no chance against the Chunin. Leveled Zetsu. He recalled the moment he had obtained the scroll while he kept his distance from the kunai and shuriken that rushed past him. Rewind. The blonde Godem Hokage spat out blood and breathed loudly, ha, ha. At the height of the Great Shinobi War, her robes took on a crimson hue. She hesitated for a moment before saying, Kakashi, I have one more mission for you to complete, without a doubt, in my last request. What can I do for you, Tsunade? Sama, Kakashi said dutifully. She was on the floor, lying on her back, and she waved him to get down. Since we are all shinobi, we both had triggered our emotions due to this horrific war. But, as he thought of Naruto, Kakashi winced and said, You and I have both lost loved ones, who just so happen to be the same person. I order you, one of the last Kakashi shinobi of the Hidden Leaf, to go back. Back to where it all began, Tsunade said in a Hokage. Like manner despite her condition. Before Tsunade put a medium, thick scroll in Kakashi's hands, he appeared perplexed. Then he recognized the scroll with the exquisite calligraphy on top. He looked at the scroll in his hands and said, Wah. Wait, are you sure this is okay? You should be more aware than I am that you are the only person capable of finishing this mission, so of course I am. After all, you were the one who assisted her in creating this lethal and unfeasible device, Tsunade uttered slowly as she caught her breath. Thinking that this would be the solution to international harmony, Kakashi gazed at the scroll that he and Naruto had made. A time traveling pocket to the past, the scroll was a complex work of art that only she, Naruto, a seal mistress of her caliber, could produce. Compared to Naruto, Kakashi had only contributed to the theory and fundamentals, which was a very small and constrained area. But since Kakashi saw how the scroll could be used with his Sharingan, which is a key component of the time traveling process, only he and Naruto could do it, but only together, and the results could be lethal. However, Tsunade Sama, Naruto had informed me that we could only accomplish this if we crossed together. Despite the consequences, Gaki had never remembered death as one of them, Kakashi. She went on to say, We only have a month, Kakashi, until Madara conquers us all with his Megenkyo Sharingan. This demonstrated her true power as one of the greatest seal mistresses ever created into mankind, surpassing the majority of seal masters as well. The only thing left to do is get ready for it, after which we will all lose ourselves. When he finally responded to Tsunade's request, Kakashi's eyes widened in realization. Of course, Tsunade Sama, I shall complete this mission, he said, bowing down in respect. Bow not, Kakashi, but make sure you finish this mission, or else the consequences will be far worse than death. As her genjutsu failed, she said with a final smile, Just remember the will of fire, and I'm sure you will be just fine. She experienced the moments of death. White Zetsu's armies emerged in the direction of Kakashi and Tsunade. Go, Kakashi, and make sure to win her heart back, and remember to give this to Sensei, she said in a lighthearted but firm manner. With the will of fire pulsing through her veins, Tsunade, like many others, gave her life in defense of her village while serving as Hokage of Konohagakure no Sato. The flashback has ended. Seeing that the white Zetsus had no end, Kakashi gasped for air. Is it really possible for me to do this alone? Kakashi asked himself. Kakashi had nothing to think about because the white Zetsu were focused on him. With just 3 minuets left, Kakashi was forced to start the scroll. The Sharingan emerged, enhancing chakra only into his eyes. With a chakra enhanced blood offering that only Naruto's or his would be able to match, Kakashi released the scroll from the palm of his right hand and opened it. There are 2 minutes left. Kakashi unrolled the lengthy scroll and placed both his left and right hands on his portion, leaving Naruto's left portion empty. He bit his thumb once more as he meticulously inscribed in calligraphy the symbols he remembered Naruto had demonstrated for his right portion of the scroll. There is just 1 minute left. Kakashi looked around and saw the white Zetsus go by through the horizon created by the hills. As Kakashi calmed himself, a drop of sweat fell from his brow. Kakashi breezed through the 50 3 hand seals using the number of hand seals he remembered. Breathing heavily from the prolonged use of his Sharingan, Kakashi moved to the center of the seal and struck it precisely in the middle with his chakra. Coated palm. In the final second, turning on the timer shield. A super chakra enforced shield that blocks out any remaining time scripts. Then he said it for a month prior to his first Genin team meeting. He grinned as he considered meeting all the people he had previously loved. After the first few hours following the blast, Kakashi had laid on his back, panting heavily. He couldn't, not because he didn't want to. Kakashi was exhausted from using all of his chakra and stamina, leaving him helpless and exposed to harm. But since he and Naruto had altered the seal into a safe haven, Kakashi didn't consider any mishaps. In Kakashi's case, the travel will not totally deplete the chakra procedure. This means that a chakra reliever is merely an incident in which one is to proceed into the new time dimension. Additionally, Naruto created a timer shield out of exhaustion from time travel, which was explained. But as both Naruto and Kakashi had studied the mechanics of time travel, they knew that if they were discovered by their own persona of the era they were visiting, time and space would be torn apart. However, Naruto had developed a theory, which both Kakashi and Naruto had tested earlier, that whoever travels through time will be merged with their previous lives, thereby erasing their memories. This was one of the benefits of being a seal mistress. The theory, which included the Omoide, memories, symbol inside the seal, was so straightforward that it was difficult to recall. However, because the war was going on in their other lifetime, Naruto and Kakashi had limited time to work on the scroll. Kakashi was only partially transported back in time as a result of this declaration because Naruto's death was so strange. However, they could have gone back further, to Obito's death, had the plan called for just Naruto or Kakashi to travel alone. However, Kakashi's chakra could only go so far back because the plan was originally made for 2. He would be somewhere inside Fire Country, as Kakashi and Naruto had foreseen, bringing him closer to Konoha, the safe haven. Kakashi knew he was close to Konoha because of the nearby forest. Then, using all of his strength, Kakashi rolled onto his chest instead of his back, extended his arm, and pulled himself through the forest. Kakashi started to remember the person he loved as he did this. Rewind inciting her Biju mode to destroy the white Zetsus that had killed her beloved people, Naruto entered the war-zoned pathway. She felt a strange new chakra signature with narrowed eyes, but she put it to rest because their chakra didn't seem to be radiating any dark aura. She saw Kakashi when she turned around after destroying the mass. He said, "Hey Naru." Kakashi. She smiled as she said it. The most erratic Kunoichi was still the 16-year-old Genin. Even though her hands were bloody and scarred, she still had the same bright smile on her face, making her look stunning. "Naru, please stop smiling at me." Despite her protests, she gave in and let the tears fall to her chin. As he ran to embrace her, Kakashi was devastated by the frown that appeared on Naruto's face. Both of them collapsed onto the red cushioned surface where Kakashi had consoled Naruto. How do you know me so well, Kashi? She asked, her voice trembling. After bringing Naruto into his lap, Kakashi removed his flak vest. Do you really want to know? He asked her, suddenly tense due to the unexpected result. He braced himself after she nodded. Kakashi created the illusion that Naruto was being pushed onto his chest by bending his knees until his thighs and knees were directly on her back. After putting his arms beneath hers, Kakashi raised her chins. In her lovely pose, he narrowed his eyes and gave her a shy mouth kiss through his mask before he withdrew. Naruto's eyes were wide and he was flushed. "I'm so sorry, Naru," Kakashi said, turning his head away from her face. Now that Naruto had planted a chaste kiss on the side of his mouth, it was his turn to have a flushed face and wide eyes. Their hearts were pounding frantically. They both said, I love you," directly and simultaneously. Since they had both confessed to one another on a bloody battlefield, they were both taken aback by the unexpected result. The flashback has ended. Both their admissions and their renewed strength made Kakashi smile. Then he thought of something that had upset him. Rewind, they had confessed 2 years earlier. Slung on Toba's shoulder, an 18-year-old Naruto was covered in blood. "Obito, why are you doing this? How can you do this to her?" Kakashi cried out in a fit of rage. He was prepared to attack with a kunai. "Are we now acting hypocritically, Kakashi? Remember Rin? Yes, you killed her, even though I loved her very much." With a smirk on his face, Obito remarked, "Now is my chance to do the same to you." When Obito and Naruto sank into the ground, Kakashi's eyes widened. Despite the ongoing war, Kakashi was thrilled when he proposed to Naruto a month ago, hoping to turn their mating into a true wedding celebration. His face was marred by tears as he sobbed over the memories. With his other half gone, he bowed his head and felt exhaustion radiate from his very being. The flashback has ended. Clearly visible through the horizon was Konoha. When it had been spotted, Kakashi was relieved because Konoha was now thriving with its beauty. He experienced a surge of strength, and Kakashi dashed to her gates, smirking as he got past the guards. After that, he searched for the Hokage monument and was even more delighted to see the stony faces that had been vandalized. Naruto was present. Seeing that Kakashi was a bloody mess who was running around Konoha's streets, onlookers gave him a wary glance. But for the time being, Kakashi didn't give a damn about what people thought of him, so he hurried to the Hokage tower. The Sandaime could be seen smoking a pipe of herbs while completing his paperwork. Then they shattered to the ground as Kakashi rushed through the window, shocking him. The elderly Sarutobi swiftly shifted his chair, in which he was sitting, out of the way. Kakashi, you know that you're going to have to pay for that, don't you? Hiruzen replied. Kakashi was summoned to the Sarutobi. As he read the complaint notes on his desk, Hiruzen thought, now, this seems very out of character for you, Kakashi-kun, to go crashing down on random windows. He continued, I have also heard complaints of you dancing out on the streets, scandalously. Kakashi's eyes widened as he said, tell me the date as of right now, Lord Hokage, please. Kakashi wanted to be certain, despite the fact that the Hokage monuments had been vandalized. Today is the Academy graduation ceremony and test, to see who will graduate and become genin, he responded, looking perplexed by Kakashi's attitude. So, June 13th is today. Now that I think about it, I did ask you if I could play against a genin team this year. The Sandaime handed Kakashi a yellow folder named Team 7 and said, here is the folder. Try to at least pass them this time, Kakashi-kun, the Hokage continued. Kakashi gave a heartfelt nod of gratitude. The Sarutobi said, be sure to take a shower too, Kakashi, you reek of sweat and blood, as he led you to the window and was ready to leave. I assumed you would have no trouble completing the C-rank mission. Kakashi gave a nod before leaving through the window with a salute. This year, Kakashi was genuinely thrilled to have a genin squad. One of the benefits of being a shinobi was being able to travel through roofs. The civilians below couldn't see Kakashi, which kept him focused. In other words, you won't appear insane in their presence. When Kakashi noticed his apartment complex approaching from the distance, he let out a sigh of relief. Upon opening the door, Kakashi discovered that everything had returned to its previous state from all those years ago. He opened his folder while seated in the chair next to the table. According to the first description box, Haruno, Sakura. Sex. Female hair color. Pink eye color. Green weight, 35.4 kilograms. Height. 148.5 centimeters. Age. 12 Dob. March 28 Haruno, Sakura is average in the areas that include ninjutsu, taijutsu, and genjutsu. Subjects such as Common Core are well excelled by Sakura, as she is the Kunoichi of the year. Notes. Sakura is noted to be an honor student, in which Sakura's scholastic intelligence is hardly rivaled by any of her peers. Despite this, however, just like most preteen girls, Sakura was more interested in her looks as opposed to practicing her ninja skills. The second description box showed that of Uchiha, Sasuke. Sex. Male hair color. Dark black eye color, dark black. Weight. 42.2 kilograms. Height. 150.8 centimeters. Age. 12 Dob. July 23. Uchiha. Sasuke excels in the areas that include ninjutsu, taijutsu, and genjutsu. Subjects such as Common Core are well studied as to him. However, he has the lowest score in cooperation and second lowest in assertiveness. Notes. Can be a bit antisocial at times while being in a stoic posture. Sasuke has both a superiority and an inferiority complex, as he is unwilling to acknowledge when someone is stronger than him, but obsesses when he believes that they are. The third description box showed that of Uzumaki, Naruto. Sex. Female hair color. Blonde eye color. Blue weight, 37.4 kilograms. Height. 140.7 centimeters. Age. 12 Dob. October 10 Uzumaki. Naruto is far below average, but passable in the areas that include ninjutsu, taijutsu, and genjutsu. Subjects such as Common Core are abysmal at claws. Notes. Naruto is exuberant, brash, inattentive, and heedless to formality or social standings. Naruto is relatively naive, simple, and being slow to understand a principle or situation. which often requires an oversimplified analogy in order to grasp what is being explained to her. As he wrapped up his reading, Kakashi remarked pleasantly, "Same as ever." Kakashi noticed a faint red hue evaporating from his hand as he removed it from the paper. He recalled that he had just returned from a war when he asked, "Huh?" After 2 years of the war, he had never really had the luxury of taking a proper shower, so he said with joy, "Gosh, I really do need to take a shower." Kakashi asked the Ninken pug, "Hey, Pakun, I know that you know." With a straight face, Pakun said, "Huh? What you mean?" But, pausing to raise his paw, "I just had my paws done. Y'all wanna feel?" Kakashi's eyebrows twitched. The direct statement from Kakashi was, "My time travel." The dog scolded, "Yeah, I know. Good. Wait, why?" Kakashi stated, "Because I want you to spy on Naru for me." He continued, prancing as he reflected on his first arrival in Konoha. "I've been having these random mood swings that started this morning, actually. I think it's because of the mating mark." Pakun said, "Wait, what would happen if I said I didn't?" Kakashi grinned and handed Pakun a messaging device, placing it on his ears. "Then you would have labeled me as a pedo. Now, enough of that. I want you to see if Naru still has her mating mark." Kakashi arched an eyebrow in response to Pakun's retort, "Whatever you say, I still think of you as a pedo. I mean, you are spying on little children." He said, "Bye now, Kakashi," as he passed through the dog doorway. 30 minutes later, Pakun called Kakashi at last. "Hey, Kakashi? You there?" Oh, yeah," exclaimed Kakashi. "Do you see it, Pakun? It's on her left shoulder." "Wait a second, Kakashi. If my sight is correct, I do see a tanner outline on her shoulder. Lucky for me, she's just checking it out right now. It looks to me like she is scared of what it is." Kakashi growled, "Don't you dare," but was cut off. "Shut up, Kakashi. I'm not a sexual child rapist like you. You even send innocent puppies out for dirty spying business, you big pervert. Oh. And by the way, I'm into the more mature ladies, if you know what I mean," Pakun said with a grin. Kakashi said into the microphone, "I don't care, Pakun. You're not even a puppy. You can come back now." HMPH, I shouldn't have done tea. Pakun complained, but Kakashi ignored him, tossing the radio onto his bed and sagging on the floor while wearing a silly smile. After removing his mask, he rubbed his face, revealing a radiant smile. He sighed in frustration, recalling his Hokage's nearly final words or orders to him. "This time, I'm for sure that I'll recapture her heart." Today was the longest walk to the Hokage Tower for Kakashi. This was due to the fact that he was going to reveal the future to the Hokage today. The secretary said that he should enter the room. "Now, what do you need, Kakashi-kun? Are you here to pay for the window?" Hiruzen replied. "Oh no, I overlooked that. Shouldn't have come here at all," Kakashi thought frantically. For a moment, Kakashi walked straight up to the door after turning around, until the Sandame said to his secretary to shut the door. After noticing that the secretary had given him a mental smirk, Kakashi turned to face the Hokage. Kakashi's gaze wandered all over, but not directly to the Hokage's eyes. "That woman. Now Kakashi-kun, what did you need to talk to me about? And if it's about the team, then the answer is no." "No," yelled Kakashi. The Hokage gave him an odd look. "Darn it, Kakashi. Pay attention." Because of the suspicion that the Sarutobi's eyes were covered in cash, Kakashi degraded himself. Kakashi that stated, "I mean, what I'm trying to say is that I'm from the future, and I need your help." "Are you delirious, Kakashi? Or are you just practicing a new excuse for when you are late on me?" asked Hiruzen, narrowing his eyes. After flinching and saying, "Ouch," Kakashi pulled out a scroll that contained space-time kinjutsu. The Hokage's expression upon seeing the scroll caused Kakashi to sigh. This is a masterpiece, Kakashi. I've never seen anything like this before in my days of living. It might even come close to surpassing Mito-sama's own work, if I must say. The intricate strokes of ink in its right position. I'm no Fuinjutsu master, but anyone who has ever seen this will think the way I do. If I may ask, did you create this, Kakashi-kun? Replied the Hokage. Kakashi responded, "Well, technically, no, but partially, yes." After a moment of bewilderment, the Sandame asked directly, "Then who was the one who made this complexity?" "Naruto, Hokage. Sama, Uzumaki, Naruto. She was the one who made this from our future. I had helped her by the minuscule," Kakashi said, closing his eyes tightly. The Sandame interrupted Kakashi mid. sentence as he began to remove his flak vest and pulled his shirt to the left, revealing his mating mark. W. What are you trying to say? You don't have PR. TH. That is. The mating mark. Kakashi concluded his statement. Keeping his cool, Hiruzen asked, when did this happen, and with whom? There will be an official Hitaki clan mating mark if you check Naruto's left shoulder, Kakashi explained with a smile on his face. In the next 6 years, I will mate with the one who had solely created the scroll that you were holding. He went on to say, Naruto does have the mating mark as well, but she doesn't know what it actually is, what it represents, what we represent. Upon closely examining Kakashi's appearance, the Sandaime Hokage noted the extremely unusual posture for Kakashi. He was standing straight now, alert. Compared to the previous context, he appeared considerably happier. All that could be said was that Kakashi didn't look like him from this period. Fine then, Kakashi, what if I say that I believe you? Hokage. Sama, you don't have to believe me, I just need to let someone in on this who could help me with future disasters. You're playing on a very narrow road right now, Kakashi. The Sandaime's eyes narrowed. The Sandaime narrowed his eyes once more as Kakashi sighed and said, okay fine, Lord Hokage, I'll let you in on a secret. Kakashi began to say, in 3 weeks' time, Naru will not pass the academy exam, in which Mizuki, the academy teacher, will tempt her into stealing the forbidden scroll. In a frustrated silence, the Hokage scowled and raised his hand to his forehead. Kakashi waited for a response while standing there. Sigh, fine Kakashi, in 3 weeks' time, if Mizuki were to cause this incident, then I will believe in you, foolproof. After giving the Sandaime's words some thought, Kakashi said, of course, Lord Hokage. He then walked away from the Hokage tower. In 3 weeks, Konoha was alerted by alarms. Shinobi scurried to the Hokage for orders from all over the village. The numerous shinobi who gathered in front of the Hokage became alarmed and exclaimed, Hokage. Sama. What do we do? The forbidden scroll was sealed away by the Shoden himself. If that goes to enemy hands, Konoha will be greatly ruined. Silence. Hiruzen yelled. The Sandaime said, do not worry, for I already have predicted this outcome. The old Sarutobi then took out his oracle, lowering his voice as he saw the crowd fighting in their panic. The shinobi could see Naruto carrying the scroll and sprinting back towards the Hokage tower. But Mizuki was pursuing her, his eyes filled with evil. He pulled out his windmill shuriken and hacked it in her direction with the intent to kill when Mizuki caught her. Haruka, however, moves quickly and swoops in to take the blow, landing it squarely on his back. Soon after, Naruto yells, Taiju Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, and uses a cross-handed hand seal to create thousands of clones that beat Mizuki. The sheer number of shadow clones Naruto had down was astounding to all of the shinobi in attendance. Considering that the Jinchuriki had only learned the Kinjutsu a few hours prior, it was amazing to watch them accomplish that. The stunned shinobi received a sly smile from Kakashi, who was at the rear of the crowd. He disappeared in midair as he stepped into the darkness. One exclaimed, whoa, what's going on in here? Is the world ending? Another accused said, wah. Wait, is it just me, or are we all so late? Since he was early for once, Kakashi's perspiration dropped at their antics. When the Hokage saw Kakashi, his face lit up with laughter. Then he yelled, be silent, and, as expected, the people in his office fell silent. Cease your worries, because I just called Kakashi and said that the meeting was 3 hours ago, the elderly Sarutobi said. Even though Kakashi was the center of attention, all of the ninja in the room had relieved expressions on their faces. His book was out, and he was ecstatic on the inside because Kakashi hadn't read it in a long time because of the war. Then Kimiko bent over and grabbed Mi. Kakashi began to speak, but the Hokage cut him off. Looking only at Kakashi, who was once again the center of attention, Hiruzen said, now, today is a very special day, as it is the new Genin team selection day. The new future leaders of Konoha will be passed down to their hands in the near future. I expect you all to know what team you are to proceed with. He waited for the waves of nods before continuing. Be sure to at least try to pass your team, even with the 66% chance of failure. You never know that this batch of academy students will break the percentage. The Hokage appeared satisfied with the meeting's conclusion and gave the order, now, go to the academy and see who your new team might look like. You are now dismissed. Except for Kakashi. The Kunoichi and all of the shinobi followed its instructions. Kakashi appeared perplexed. Hiruzen used a privacy seal around the edge of his office and then whispered, Kakashi, are you really from the future? Kakashi responded in a firm voice, yes, as I have stated previously, I am definitely from the future. Then Kakashi recalled. In a panic, he reached into his weapons pouch and presented a scroll bearing the words, Tsunade. Hiruzen took the scroll, opened it, and revealed what was within. When the Sarutobi accepted that Kakashi was from the future, his eyes first widened and then narrowed. What will happen in the future, Kakashi? Knowing that you are here now, I assume that bad things are to happen. And if this scroll was sent by Tsunade-chan, does that mean she comes back to Konoha? The Hokage asked, taking a chance by knowing what was ahead. Kakashi's eyes narrowed slightly and he appeared solemn. He answered, yes, bad things are to come, quickly even. I came back to this time period. Today is the day where it all started. In a time lapse of less than a decade, things will go bad. Not only for us, Konoha, but for the whole entire shinobi world. And, yes, Tsunade comes back being the first ever female Hokage. The Sandame's eyes grew wide at every declaration. How does this happen? Kakashi is sorrowful and responds, because there will be no peace, only disasters will occur throughout our history as shinobi. By changing for what is to become, we can prevent the wipeout of all shinobi. And with Tsunade-sama, Naruto happens. You'll learn more about everything in that scroll. The Sandame nods and examines the characters closely. In an attempt to lighten the mood, Sarutobi joked, thank you for the information, Kakashi, you may take your leave now. Maybe this time, you will actually have a real explanation for why you're late today. After grinning and saluting, Kakashi leapt through the shattered window. You're still going to have to pay for that, Kakashi. Made him smile even more. Kakashi strolled through the streets of Konoha, reading Icha Icha Paradise and whistling as he made his way to the academy classroom where Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura were present. This year, he refused to play favorites. When he heard Naruto and Sasuke arguing, Sakura screaming loudly when Naruto was being foolish, and their small cooperation for the chalk eraser prank, he left. One could take for granted the nostalgia of these tranquil times, which Kakashi would always cherish. Everything seemed phony, but it was all real. It was like a dream come true. Kakashi recalled the first trick Naruto had pulled on him as he reached for the doorway. This time, however, he would fully embrace the eraser at the expense of her laughter. She thought slyly as Naruto scurried around the classroom doorway. Seeing this, Sakura remarked, Naruto, please just sit down or something. Why is our Team 7 sensei so dang late? All the other teams have gone off with their other sensei, and Iruka sensei also left. Ah, Naruto squinted her eyes. Sakura screamed doubtfully, Naruto, what are you doing? When she pulled her new prank, Naruto was giggling. She placed a chalkboard eraser directly in the doorway's crook while standing on a chair in the classroom. The eraser is placed in place by sliding the door until it reaches it, putting the plan into action. While the outer Sakura raged at Naruto's blatant foolishness, the inner Sakura cheered. Peeved, Sasuke exclaims abruptly, as if any Junin would fall for a dumb joke. A hand suddenly appeared from the other side of the doorway, and everything stopped inside the classroom. Poof! Naruto's lovely laughter bounded the dust as cock clouds filled the room, and Kakashi grinned under his mask upon seeing the picture painted in front of him. It was all very nostalgic. Sensei, I'm so sorry, I tried to stop Naruto but she was Sakura's opening statement, but inside. Sakura interrupted with another story, saying, okay, that worked better than imagined. Is this really a Junin? He doesn't seem very reliable, Sasuke thought anxiously. And then Kakashi said, how can I say this? Even though it was the exact opposite of what he truly believed, his initial reaction was, I don't like you guys. The classroom fell silent as Sakura, Sasuke, and Naruto looked shamefully at their teacher. Kakashi shunned away after saying, okay, meet me in the roof before 5. Squinting his only eye at the view of Konoha, Kakashi thought shamefully, on my gosh, why is she still so gorgeous? She's only 12. Man, I sound like a freaking pedophile. Sensei. When Naruto yelled his name, Kakashi was startled inside. His response was, huh, oh, yeah, he went on, well, let's begin by introducing yourselves. Are you curious? How about your likes, dislikes, your dreams for the future, things like that? Hey, hello. How about you tell us a little bit about yourself first? Because you kind of look suspicious, Naruto yelled. Naruto was unaware of his identity when a melancholy smile emerged behind Kakashi's mask. Oh. Me? Hitaki. Kakashi is my name. I have a lot of hobbies, but I don't want to share my likes and dislikes or my future goals with you. As the students of Team 7 stared at him incredulously, Kakashi laughed a little because everything was the same as it had been before, like a blank canvas waiting to be painted, and he sighed with pleasure as he recalled everyone's introduction. A new beginning has begun. Naruto couldn't help but feel anxious about what was going to happen. She stumbled on top of the numerous shiny strands of her long, golden hair, which strayed across the bed. Only 9 of the 27 graduates will be selected to become generals. The others will be returned to the academy. This training has a 66% failure rate, making it an extremely challenging exam. Erg! Exclaimed Naruto in frustration. She concluded by saying, "Sigh, I need to train." Feeling more refreshed as a result of her brilliant plan, she got out of bed and grabbed a black marker, duct tape, old clothing, long feathers, and a bag of flour. She gathered all of the following, then formed a head by twisting the top of the flour sack. She then added a lazy eye to the figure's right eye on the right side of its face. Satisfied with the eye she created, Naruto taped it crosswise, covering the left eye, and then applying a leaf symbol on it. The tape represents a typical Konoha Hittite. 8. After tampering with the figure's clothing, she covered its mouth and nose with a mask. Finally, she adorned its head with 4 long feathers. She laughed at the humorous appearance of her masterpiece and grinned at it. Naruto hung the doll by its head from the ceiling, where it would serve as a training dummy, while admiring it. While the Kakashi impersonator gazed at her in blankness, Naruto waited for a response. Hehe, what should I name you? Oh, I know, what about Scarecrow? Of course you will agree. With a fresh sparkle in her eyes, she smirked and punched it hard. With a series of kicks, dodges, punches, and other moves, she yelled, "When he does this, I'll hit this. And when he does that, I'll punch him there. And then I'll throw a punch here. And when he kicks with his right leg, I'll kick him in his family jewels." Kakashi observed her training with a doll that bore a striking resemblance to Naruto just outside his house. The doll resembled him exactly, so he laughed it off. Gazing out at the bright moon, he let out a sigh. He analyzed that it was dark and time for bed. Naruto practiced with a stationary Kakashi doll that evening. Kakashi prepared the training area for the ideal training environment. He grinned at how finished and well maintained it appeared. Everything will be different this time around. He was aware that his team would fail and that this would be a challenging task. But despite this, he was curious about what happened after they failed. Kakashi created the ideal test to see if they were truly prepared. Everything has the potential to end horribly well or horribly poorly, with the same or different outcomes. It will be risky. The time was around 10 o'clock, as Kakashi noticed. At least he will have a legitimate reason for his tardiness this time. "You're late." Sakura and Naruto screamed at Kakashi with ruthlessness. "Sorry, I got lost in the path of life." Each of the 3 nearly genins gave him a different look. He smiled at their reactions, then said, "Okay, here's what the survival test is. It's called Minefield. The objective of this exercise is to get your fellow teammates across a minefield of light paper bombs. These will only hurt slightly, but not cause permanent damage. Another thing is that only 2 of the 3 of you boys and girls will be tied up to each other, with blindfolds on. Each of you will be on opposite ends, making it more difficult," Kakashi explained. When he saw determined expressions on each person's face, he went on, smiling. He then said, "We will also have a key player in this test, in which they will be the ones to lead you only by their commands. They will be the one to verbally lead you to safety to one side to the other. They cannot physically lead you, only verbally, got that?" Kakashi said, getting a wave of nods. Humph, thought Naruto. I hope Sasuke Teme isn't paired with me. TCH, Sasuke thought. I'm hoping that Dobi won't be my partner. Shaw, Sakura daydreamed. This implies that I will have the opportunity to hold Sasuke Kun's hand if we are paired, squeal. But everything will be ruined if I'm paired with the Baka. Both obey Kakashi's order. Time for the choosing. Let me see. Naruto and Sasuke, come over here. They both groaned, knowing and annoyed. And whoever I think deserves it, will be tied to the tree stump while I eat in front of them, and the same goes with whoever I think needs it most. It could even be all 3 of you. They will get sent back to the academy, got that? With similar expressions, all 3 were thinking, that's why he told us not to eat breakfast. Gosh, I hope I'm not the one to get sent back to the academy, Naruto thought, her face displaying concern. But I'll get to see Iruka Sensei if I do, and then she exuded confidence after saying that. Sasuke thought, this test will be easy, with a smirk plastered on his face. That Dobi will be returned, of course. Naturally, since I'm Uchiha, I won't. Sakura also had a resolute expression on her face as she encouraged herself. Sasuke-kun and I are inseparable. If I don't take action, Ino.pig will take him. This is merely a love test. A love test. Shinero. When Naruto and Sasuke approached, Kakashi grinned and took his bag off his back, placing it on the tree stump. He pulled out a long rope and 2 bandanas. After signaling for them to approach, he positioned Naruto and Sasuke shoulder to shoulder but in opposing angles. As a result, Sasuke's right arm touched his. Since their prime arms and legs were bound, he restrained them by their right arms and legs, rendering them both immobile. After tying Sasuke's purple bandana, Kakashi moved on to Naruto, who was wearing an orange bandana. After that, he instructed Sakura to follow him as he guided Sasuke, who was facing forward, and Naruto, who was facing backward, to the sizable minefield. Kakashi then added, "Oh, yes, you both only get 10 lives each, making 20 lives total. If you surpass this rule, there will be consequences." The sheer quantity of paper bombs on the field caused Sakura's eyes to widen. "Oh my god, how am I going to survive this? If I don't, Sasuke-kun will be hurt and will always despise me." As Kakashi glanced at the display his students were in, she was overcome with anxiety. Sakura was concerned about herself. Confidence, and Naruto and Sasuke were arguing over who had touched whom. Yes, he was aware that they would fail this test. Then Naruto yelled, "Wait, there'll be no fighting here in this test?" as she leapt in Kakashi's direction and pulled Sasuke along. He said, "Huh? Nope, not at all." Kakashi replied. Then he sighed, thinking, "Of course there will." She smiled, nearly slipping, and said, "What? Then that means that I practiced on ska. Zhu. Just kidding, ha ha ha." Kakashi then escorted her to the beginning. The team had 2 hours, so Kakashi pulled out an alarm clock and set it to 12 at noon. With a smile, Kakashi said, "Sakura, whenever you're ready." Okay then. Let's see. Go straight forwards first," Sakura said, scowling. Naruto and Sasuke both listened, but they continued to walk in opposite directions. With squinted eyes, Sasuke said, "You dobi, she meant my forward." Naruto snarled. "Teme, she meant mine, wa. Wait, both of you, I actually meant Sasuke." "Kuns, Naruto. Baka," said Sakura. When she sensed a smirk on Sasuke's face, Naruto let out a savage growl before complying. Naruto walked backwards, and Sasuke walked forward. Sakura's abrupt "no" order stopped both of them, but it was too late when a mine exploded. Boom. "There are 19 lives remaining. Way to go, Sasuke," Naruto yelled, bringing his name's final 3 letters into focus. Sasuke squinted and averted his gaze from the spot where Naruto's voice had come. "Sasuke-kun, are you okay?" a voice said. "HN. Next time when you give out orders, make them more clear." Sakura blushed in embarrassment after widening her eyes. Of course, Sasuke-kun. And don't call Sasuke-kun that, Naruto. Baka, she said. After moving back to her opposing side, Naruto awaited the orders. Sakura continued, "Go to your right, Sasuke-kun, while you go to your left, Naruto. Wait, Naruto, avoid that rock." When Naruto fell on Sasuke, 5 explosives exploded onto each other, sending both of them rolling down to a full field of bombs. 6 more explosives went off as a result. There are 8 lives remaining. When Kakashi saw his students' humiliating performance, he sighed. They were going to fail. He heard the argument between Naruto and Sasuke. "You dumb Teme. Listen closely when Sakura-chan orders you, you ungrateful Teme." Humph. Maybe if I were her, I would have given more clear commands instead of those weak ones she had said. "You're such a doby all the time." Naruto yelled, "Why, you?" as she attempted, but failed, to kick him. Once more, Naruto sensed Sasuke's smirk furrowing his brow. When she remembered the test, she forgot her anger. "Hey, Sakura. Chan. How many lives do we have left?" she called out to Sakura. When Sakura counted the mines that had exploded on her fingers, she scowled. There had been more mines blown than fingers in her body. "There are only 8 left," she worried. Naruto, you both only have 8 lives left," Sakura said to Naruto. "What? Oh my gosh, Teme, we have to get this right. Wait, where are we at right now, Sakura-chan?" Kakashi gave Naruto that hopeful look. Both of you right now are about halfway across the field. This happened because of when you guys rolled up through those 6 mines," Sakura said. giving Kakashi a nod of approval. Naruto yelled, "Oh, okay, Sakura-chan, we're ready," to her. Sakura inhaled deeply and concentrated. "Okay, wait first until my command is finished. Naruto walk to your left slowly, while you, Sasuke-kun, will walk to your right." They carried out their instructions. So they listened to. Stop. They imitated her order and halted when she said, "Now, walk backwards Naruto, and frontwards. Sasuke-kun, slowly. Slowly, walk to your right, Naruto, and your left, Sasuke-kun." Ring. In fear, Naruto leapt to her left, which just so happened to have a waterbed on it. Sasuke accompanied her. "Wait, there's a lake there," exclaimed Sakura. Splash. Sakura turned to face Kakashi after her mouth widened, and he said, "Wow. They actually went there. Whatever, I also planted explosives there too." Boom. 11 or so explosions were heard, causing water to splash around the lake's edges. After yelling, "Teme! I've had enough of you. Look what you did." Naruto tangled out of the rope and removed her bandana. Sasuke looked her in the eyes, just as she had done. "You doby. You caused this when you jumped, dragging me with you, because you were a wimp." As she rose from the shallow water, Naruto let out a battle cry. She clenched her teeth and then punched Sasuke in the face using the technique she had learned from the previous night. She tried to twist her arm to make it more lethal, but Sasuke's hand stopped her. She squinted her eyes and kicked him on the ankle from below. Kicking a solid object gave her the desired effect. Although he winced in agony, he remained motionless and struck her right shoulder. When he struck it, he grinned. Furious, Naruto leapt on top of him. Both of them plunged into the shallow water, but when Kakashi caught them and pulled them out over the water, they came to a halt. When Kakashi realized what was about to happen, he let out a sigh. After tying Naruto up, he ushered Sasuke to take a seat next to the food and across from Sakura. When he first met them, Kakashi said, "You guys look really hungry." Naruto stuck her tongue out and tomboyically said, "No duh, Sherlock." Since she hadn't changed over the years, only grown more mature but still innocent, Kakashi's eye grinned at her. Sakura and Sasuke gazed at them longingly as the food was left on the grass beside them. After grinning, Kakashi said again, "You guys look pretty hungry, and about the training. Well, let's just say that you all don't need to go back to the academy." Sasuke merely grinned arrogantly, but the other three preteens gazed with wide eyes. Behind the rope she was tied to, Naruto was leaping with delight. Nay, that means all of us," she exclaimed with excitement. When he said, "Yup, all three of you should all quit as shinobi," Kakashi's eye smile did not waver. Their skin revealed the destruction on every one of their faces. Oh no! When Kakashi saw Naruto's heart barricaded by his crestfallen emotions, he slowly exhaled, felt that one coming. As Kakashi considered his mating mark, he thought, "I can't believe the mark still works. Maybe a mental link." As she slumped onto the stump, looking injured, Naruto remarked, Quit as ninjas. What are you trying to say?" She continued, "Just because we didn't get across that minefield doesn't mean we don't have to quit as to being who we would love to become, isn't that right?" Naruto said softly. It was all Kakashi could do not to embrace and console his lifelong companion. Kakashi sighed, "It's because all of you are a bunch of children who do not care about how a shinobi's life is about." As he started to charge at Kakashi, Sasuke's emotions were distorted by his rage. Naturally, Kakashi anticipated this since he ultimately held Sasuke from behind to prevent him from acting brazenly. In response to his initial Team 7 shinobi speech, Kakashi said, "That's why you are a punk." Sakura screamed, "No, don't sit on Sasuke-kun. Are you guys overestimating ninja? Why do you think you were all divided into teams and doing this training together?" Kakashi asked, glaring at Sakura and addressing the group. All looked confused. Kakashi continued, "Basically, from what I saw in this test was a no-existing team who only cared for themselves selfishly. What I'm trying to say is that the answer to passing this test was teamwork. If all of you worked together on getting on the other side of the minefield, you all would have passed." Sakura's eyes widened as she considered this. Cooperation. Sakura, you were uneasy with yourself when you had given your orders. Some of them were also not well planned out on. I had chosen you to be their commander due to your excellent skill with using your brain and thinking things through. Even thought you were fresh out of the academy. Not trusting yourself means that you cannot trust others, even thought they're your teammates. This will lead to an untimely death. Sakura sighed as Kakashi said that. Sasuke and Naruto, I had paired up both of you because I knew about your disliking of each other. I had hoped that you would set these personal problems aside and come to an agreement to work with each other. However, you did not. Naruto, I tied you up instead of Sasuke because you had just fought with him, in which angering him to fight with you. This caused a major effect in this team's teamwork. Sasuke, I could tell that you thought that you were the superior of both Naruto and Sakura. You even dissed your own commander and teammate about giving more clear commands. Before continuing, Kakashi said, if you had done this at battle and did your own thing, you would have been killed immediately, Sasuke. Kakashi then turned to face Naruto and said, Naruto, with you just causing an uproar everywhere you are. By setting things out your own way, and not thinking things through, this will also kill you in battle. In addition, Kakashi said, Sasuke, because you only cared about yourself, this resulted in setting yourself the major out of the equal that is your teammates. All of the shinobi you fight along with will be a base or a branch into a sprouting victory. This is one of the many important aspects of teamwork. This reason will also give you death. Kakashi turned to face Sasuke, who was glaring beneath him. Kakashi insisted, let's say, Sakura, kill Naruto or Sasuke will die. Despite her horrified expression, Sakura helped down when Kakashi released Sasuke. See, a shinobi's life is hard. From making depictions that will last a lifetime, if you choose wrongfully, Kakashi said with solemnity. As he approached the emblematic stone, Kakashi questioned, do you know what this is? There are many names carved on this stone, of which the name were of the forgotten heroes, Kakashi concluded, interpreting the silence as a rejection. Heroes? You mean the type that gets acknowledged? Sparked Naruto's interest. The air became less solemn as the speaker said, but they aren't like normal heroes, they are all heroes who have been killed on duty. A sense of unidentified guilt that throbbed from her rash made Naruto appear constrained. She looked up. With blurred vision, Kakashi remarked, some of my closest friends are carved into this very stone. Kakashi's eyes darkened. I'll give you guys one last chance. However, the test will become even harder, because now you know the answer to this test. Those of you whose wish to do it will eat with the exception of Naruto. And if I catch you guys feeding her, there will be no second chance. Got it? Kakashi asked sternly. After that, he hid behind a tree. Hey, it's okay guys, I'm strong. Naruto let out a feeble breath. As her stomach rumbled, she was rebutted by her own words. Sasuke said, you're so weak, Dobi. Naruto was too hungry to vent his anger. When Sasuke held out his chopsticks to Naruto's mouth and displayed his platter of food, her eyes widened. Naruto turned away from the food after blushing as she approached it. Don't Sasuke. Don't risk it. When she didn't mention his common nickname, Sasuke appeared perplexed. Are you sure, you Dobi? 'Cause I don't want you holding us back down. With a quick, sincere glance, Naruto turned to face Sasuke. Teme, she exclaimed, blushing shyly. Sakura also extended her platter. Sakura. Chan, you too? Naruto asked, his expression growing even more moved. She started to kneel down, but she stopped herself. A puff of smoke suddenly appeared in front of the team. When they saw Kakashi, their eyes all widened. When Kakashi didn't eat anything from Naruto, his eyes widened. Sakura and Sasuke both exhaled in relief, thinking the same thing. Phew. A near miss. Wah. Wait, Kakashi mused to himself, shouldn't Naruto be eating the food by now? Was I in the wrong time? Kakashi was experiencing a panic attack. I guess I'll have to fail all of you guys, Kakashi started. His accusation made all three of them look horrified. Sakura yelled, but we listened to what you said, at him. Exactly, Kakashi said in a confident tone devoid of any concern, but you didn't look underneath the underneath. If you had looked underneath the underneath, Naruto would have been eating by now. Naruto's eyes widened as she realized. With a strained tone, Kakashi said, because you don't qualify for being general. Naruto interrupted Kakashi with the words, no, don't fail Sasuke. Teme and Sakura. Chan. If I wasn't stupid enough and took the food, then everything would be alright. I always see the Teme training and Sakura has to be with the Teme, because all that pursuing would be all wasted. And anyways, I'll see Iruka Sensei at the academy, and I could handle one more failure in life, couldn't I? The sight nearly split Kakashi's heart in two. Sakura told Naruto with a genuine smile and no regrets, Wait, Naruto, don't be a real baka, because I know you take shinobi life way more better than me, so I'll go back. Embarrassed, Sasuke blushed and said, Dobi, you might as well be a great kunoichi one day, so maybe, I'm the one who should go back. Is this actually taking place? Unbelievably, Kakashi thought to himself. He went on, because, no offense, but Sasuke is too self-important and Naruto can be pretty cocky. You know I love you so much, hun. Sakura would do anything to get as close to Sasuke as possible, at least at this age. Naruto felt anger pulsing through her veins as she looked up, wondering if she was dreaming or if someone had just called her arrogant behind her back. Fine, if you guys want it that way, then, you all pass, Kakashi yelled after shaking his head, and they all appeared utterly shocked by the result. Since he had finally regained his team, Kakashi grinned sweetly. You know, you guys are the first team I ever passed. Sakura exclaimed. Wah. Wait, we pass? Incredulously. Yup. Kakashi told her, sunnily and with relief. Being the one to take the blow in front of your teammates, a teamwork action and generosity. It is also a way to look underneath the underneath, replied Kakashi. When Kakashi reflected on the past and remarked, you know those who break the rules are trash, but those who desert their comrades are lower than trash. His exuberant demeanor somewhat subsided. Kakashi was viewed differently by his new students. Naruto blushed a little, which Kakashi noticed, and he thought, he's so cool, as he looked at Kakashi. When he turned to face Naruto and met her eyes directly, Kakashi grinned. Naruto blushed even more, which gave Kakashi the effect he wanted. Get it together, Naru, thought Naruto as he stood there. Your foolish skin rash is the only reason. Gather yourself. At last, Naruto turned his back on Kakashi. Okay, guys, tomorrow, Team 7 will officially start shinobi duties. Let's go now. Kakashi waved Sakura and Sasuke away, his eyes glimmering slightly. When he heard Naruto's tirades, he grinned. Wah. Wait for me, guys. Please get me out of this rope, please, she pleaded. That's what you get, Naruto, for never listening in class, you doby, replied Sasuke. That was a near miss, However, under the clear sky, Kakashi thought, I've finally got my team back. On the blue canvas known as sky, clouds filled the air. Naruto remained bound and slouched on the stump after 2 hours of waiting in the autumnal air. Naruto was saddened by the loneliness she experienced when she was left alone in the orange glow of the evening sun. The loneliness always got to her, even with the team. As she bowed her head, Naruto sighed, stupid Kakashi. Sensei, he's just like the rest of my past senseis. Except Iruka. Sensei. She was startled when a voice spoke. What was that, Naru? Naru? Naruto narrowed her eyes at the location where the enigmatic voice sounded, thinking incoherently. From the forest came Kakashi. Holding a kunai in his right hand, he approached. Naruto appeared shocked by the sight, and her shock increased upon seeing the kunai. Looking at him with vulnerability, she asked, what are you gonna do, wi? With that, sensei? Her fingernails scratched the stump. Naruto was set free when Kakashi hacked the kunai into the air and onto the rope. Kakashi asked, do you want to go for some ramen? As Naruto looked at him bewildered and began to speak. Naruto glanced at Kakashi before turning back to her hands. She gave him a suspicious look while she was thinking, but eventually her stomach rumbled and her tan face flushed. Naruto nodded her head up, a flush illuminating her face. Her antics made Kakashi smile. His laughter caused Naruto to look at him with a flushed face and narrowed eyes. She walked in the direction of Ichiraku Ramen after turning away. Behind his mask, Kakashi grinned and said, let's go then. Naruto yelled, miso ramen with extra char shao. She devoured the second bowl of ramen. Kakashi approached Naruto at the ramen stand and said, so, Naru, why do you want to become the Hokage, if I may ask? A few noodles remained in her mouth after Naruto completely stopped her from chewing. When she realized this, she felt ashamed and used the sleeve of her jacket to wipe her mouth. Kakashi laughed aloud and grinned at her. When she and Kakashi were the center of attention, Naruto flushed with shame. Although Naruto enjoyed attention, she wasn't ready for humiliating attention just yet. When he instructed her to go on, Kakashi grinned broadly behind his mask. She replied, her face redder than ever, well, I never really told anyone this, except for Gigi, but I want to be acknowledged and accepted. Naruto, get yourself together. Avoid coming across as weak in front of people, especially sensei, she chastised herself. Raising his hands to her long golden hair, Kakashi ruffled it. While attempting to remove her hands, Naruto giggled and raised them to his. In light of his future regrets, Kakashi remarked, everything's on me, get as much as you like. Naruto's eyes widened in gratitude, but she restrained herself by asking, are you sure, sensei? Do you know my eating habits? She did well to be thoughtful, and Kakashi grinned at her suggestion. Yes, I do know your eating habits, and of course you can eat as much as you want. He winked at her as he ruffled her hair once more. With a sincere and heartfelt smile, Naruto thanked him. Nay, Kakashi. Sensei. Why are you being so nice to me? Naruto asked Kakashi after she finished eating. Well, Naru, Kakashi replied, I just want to get to know you better. Huh? Then why you not invite Sakura, Chan and Sasuke, Teme? I already did treat them, at the barbecue place next door. I just wanted to treat you here, cause I know you like to eat ramen. All was said from your file. Kakashi stated in a white lie. Naruto said, a little disappointed, huh? Oh. Kakashi tried to sound safe when he said, no, don't worry about it Naru. I don't know why, but I just wanted to know about you more. That's all. As naive as Naruto was, she was unaware that Kakashi was courting her a little. Y'all wanna get some ice cream? It'll still be on me. Naruto said, wow sensei, you're so cool, sure, with a toothy smile on her face. Both were going to the same stand, which was fairly well liked because it was covered in the middle of Konoha. But it had been very solitary this time. Perfect, thought Kakashi. They crossed the outdoor table sets and took seats on the stand's provided stools. When the vendor saw Naruto, he glared at his customers. The seller choked Kakashi after he leaked killer enter toward him. WH. What would you like sir? The wait vendor asked shyly after feeling threatened and exposed. One scooped chocolate and one too. Scooped red bean with cocoa powder on top, Kakashi remarked with a sly smile. The vendor stammered, right away, sir. As he attempted to collect the order. As Naruto watched, he was in awe of Kakashi, but then he noticed something strange. Wah. Wait. How do you know that my favorite flavor is red bean and with cocoa powder on top, with 2 scoops too? Said Naruto. With a shattered smile hidden behind his mask, Kakashi gazed for a response. In an attempt to avoid coming across as stalker. Kakashi said uneasily, well. I guess I just remembered from your file also. You know as shinobi, we all know your every move. Wow. Exclaimed Kakashi inside. Bravo, Kakashi. She will now genuinely believe that you are more than just an outright pervert. Wait. Does that file thingy say some weird things about me? Like about the time I got sent back to my apartment because one time at school I accidentally pooed my pants? Naruto said, her face dripping with perspiration, despite her apparent lack of knowledge. Fortunately, no one was around when Kakashi burst out laughing, and he then uttered the words, Now I know. Naruto uttered the embarrassing words, Yo. You. Kakashi combed his hair and said, haha. You really know how to start a conversation, Naru. Ha, of course I do. For my name wouldn't be Uzumaki, Naruto, Datbeo. She exclaimed loudly and arrogantly, regaining her pride, and Naruto grinned. Nay, what are we gonna do for missions? Are we gonna do super cool ninja stuff like guarding a princess? Or are we gonna save an important document for the daimyo? Nay. Something like that. But you'll just have to find out tomorrow. Now let's go, I'll walk you home. Hey, does that file thingy say where I live too? Asked Naruto as he brightened and walked beside Kakashi. Kakashi gave her a humorous smile and replied, sure. Naruto no longer cared what was written in her file because, in her opinion, today had been a good day. After 2 months. No, not at all. Nope. Naruto swore directly at the Sandaime Hokage. Iruka arched an eyebrow. I ain't gonna take any more D-ranked missions anymore. I mean, have some compassion, would you, Gigi? We already had a combo of them for weeks. Even months. In a row, she exaggerated, so please give us some mercy by giving us at least a higher ranked mission. Naruto begged shamelessly. I also detest these D-ranked, so-called missions, Sasuke thought. Please, no more D-ranked torture, Sakura thought. Given that Team 7 passed in a different way than previously, Kakashi speculated, perhaps the Tazuna wave mission, or perhaps I messed up this timeline pretty badly. Naruto, Iruka said, getting up from his chair. You have no respect for your Hokage. Especially since you were just a rookie. How do you have the audacity to ask for more? You have to work your way up, Naruto. Iruka initially reprimanded Naruto in a motherly manner. The Sandaime gave a head nod. He held up his hand to signal Iruka to get down. The Hokage explained, every ninja village gets a numerous amount of missions, ranging from babysitting to assassination. These missions are categorized by ranks, in which yours was ranked a D-ranked mission. Now, see, there is a different category of shinobi, in which is categorized by their caliber. An explanation being that, excluding Kage, Junin would be strongest, Chunin would be mid-strongest, and Genin would be least strongest. Now you bunch are just GE. Okay, so I got a pork ramen yesterday night, so that means that a miso ramen would be good tonight, huh Kakashi? Sensei? Naruto asked Kakashi after the elderly Sarutobi paused his speech upon seeing Team 7. When there was a pause in which only he spoke, Kakashi turned his head and replied, "Of course, Naru." He turned to face the Hokage and said, "Oh, Hokage. Sama," with a sheepish scratch at the back of his head. Naruto begged, but please, Hokage. Sama, I need this." The Hokage and Iruka's eyes grew wide. Whoa, from where did that originate? After clearing his throat, the Hokage said, "All right, Naruto-chan, I'll give you this C-rank mission because I do believe you've grown up." Team 7's eyes widened incredulously. "Tazuna-san, you can come out now," said the elderly Sarutobi. "Humph. I'm going to get protected by these midgets then. Bah, whatever. Hello, my name is Tazuna and I am the superboat builder and cargo shipper." How much have I screwed up this timeline? Kakashi thought, his eyes widening. While Kakashi remained behind, frantically panicking in the Hokage's office, Tazuna was instructed to wait at the front gates and the children were sent to pack for 30 minutes. Kakashi-kun, is something the matter? Hiruzen became concerned. Yes, something is very wrong. Kakashi snapped at his leader, but first, let me see the time travel scroll. The elderly Sarutobi nodded and entered the Hokage library's hidden passageway. He returned to give the scroll to Kakashi after removing it from the forbidden area. After thanking him, Kakashi brushed the dust off the scroll. Using a drop of his chakra, enhanced blood, he opened it, and it opened elegantly across the desk. His eyes grew wide as he studied the many characters on the scroll. Hiruzen watched Kakashi with interest as he stood patiently beside him. After widening his eyes at the text he was seeking, Kakashi read aloud, "Because time is an intricate, but everlasting source, it can be manipulated impossibly by the slightest disturbance inflicted upon it." Hiruzen glanced inquisitively at Kakashi, who noticed this. "Hokage. Sama, this is very different from my timeline, because you see, Tazuna was a bridge builder, not a boat builder or cargo shipper. How will we get through this, Kakashi? If this is to happen, then what will become of the future? Did you do anything different from what you didn't do before?" the Sandaime asked, his eyes widening. "Well, I changed the survival test for Team 7, but how does this affect Tazuna?" Kakashi was concerned. However, it did say that even with the slightest disturbance inflicted upon it, time could be impossibly manipulated. The Hokage replied. Thinking, Kakashi uttered, manipulated. Even with the slightest disturbance? Of course, time could be manipulated. That means that if I can manipulate time the right way, then that means that I can change however way I want it to be. But seeing how changed it had became just I had changed the survival test, how is this even possible? He said loudly, while rereading the scroll. If you can do this for the better, Kakashi, then I trust you, as it is a duty as a Konoha shinobi. Yes, said Kakashi, but I thought it would be more easier than this. He continued, also, in our timeline, Tazuna lied about the ranking of the mission, in which was actually a high B to low A ranked mission. After a moment of hesitation, the elderly Hokage said, and don't you need to prepare for this mission, Kakashi-kun? Nothing's ever easy the first time, Kakashi-kun. I'm sure that it was just this happening that caused Tazuna to not be a bridge builder. After nodding in agreement to the first question, Kakashi checked the time and saw that 30 minutes had passed. After giving the Hokage a salute, he hurried out the window. He then answered the next question, nope, I know I'm always prepared for the next missions to come. Anyways, I knew that this mission was next after the Tora one we did before. Hiruzen pulled out his pipe and smoked some tobacco, saying, wait, you'll still have to pay. Ah, forget it. Tazuna grumbled, how am I going to be protected by you brats? Kakashi's pupils wanted to beat Tazuna and gave him a longing look. Kakashi had been waiting for the first indications of a puddle for 30 minutes after leaving Konoha. After looking around, he noticed some green moss growing on a tree bark that was illuminated by the sun. That's odd. There will probably be an attack soon. Kakashi stood ready on a tree branch and swapped himself out for Kawarimi. When the illusion of moss faded, he squinted. Kakashi's Kawamiri was shot with a kunai, giving the impression that he had died. Although it had appeared that Kakashi was dead, the other members of Team 7 were signaled to their duties. Kakashi squinted at this. Since Naruto was unaffected by her duty, he didn't have to defend his team as much. With Sakura standing in front of Tazuna as a protective gesture and Naruto and Sasuke engaged in combat with the Demon Brothers, the rest of Team 7 stood tall to their duties. Well, at least the Demon Brothers are the same. Kakashi then leapt to the dirt floor after the team defeated their enemies and Naruto avoided poisoning. Sakura and Naruto both exclaimed, "Kakashi! Sensei!" with a particularly anxious expression on Sasuke's face. Tazuna's expression was one of shock and relief. Kakashi signaled to hold steady by raising his right hand. He approached Tazuna, who had steadily cowered. Kakashi asked, "Is there something you didn't include in your mission request, Tazuna-san? He might have hurt my adorable little brats." Tazuna clenched his teeth, "Zhu. Just that I might have a bigger trouble brewing." Kakashi looked at him to continue, "There are missing in out for my life because of my cargo and boat building company. See, there is a man named Gato, who is after my little village, Wave. He wants to take over my business so that he monopolize my village. Even though our village is small, it was wealthy. He may underestimate us, but me and my village's people will hold their head high, but however, if this will go on, Gato's blows will go for the kill." Well, it's definitely different. When examining Tazuna's appearance, Kakashi thought, he's dressed better than he was the last time. Then why didn't you buy for a much larger ranking mission? Even though we did say we were prosperous before the Gato incident, Gato somehow managed to take hold of us financially, making us quite poor at this time. My villages and I have a hold on a B ranked or 2C ranked, in which we picked the aftermath. He paused then continued, but, however, the one Junin that was sent here some couple months back had somehow was proclaimed back to the village, causing us to worry if your village knows of our circumstances. We had sent a letter by a slow deliverer, because we didn't want Gato to know that it wasn't urgent. We tried again, to get another mission, with me included along. Another C ranked? Why does it sound so familiar even though this is also different? Kakashi looked at Tazuna and then said, "What if this was considered illegal to which you had lied to the Hokage himself? You would get terribly punished. I'm doing you a favor right now, Tazuna-san. Me and my team must head back." Wah. Wait, Kakashi. Sensei. We can't just leave this old man in the middle of the road to be killed. Have some compassion. And anyways, I want a real mission like this one. Please, please, please. Naruto pleaded. Kakashi pinched his arm to keep himself from jumping on her. Sakura appeared concerned as Sasuke nodded. Fine, but when I see that this mission is too unstable for us, I will deport it. Got it? Kakashi said, squinting his eyes. Sakura appeared unsteady, Sasuke smirked, and Naruto smiled. Their kindness caused Tazuna's eyes to widen. These children, despite their diminutive size, they exhibit great bravery. With a new light in his eyes, he thought, perhaps I've underestimated them too much. Tazuna said appreciatively, thank you so much for your compassion. Please come this way. You know this is a shortcut to Wave? As the fog grew, Naruto's expression became uneasy. Kakashi gave her a knowing look as if to reassure her. Naruto tossed a kunai in the direction of the bushes that were making a ruffle. There was nothing different about the appearance of a snow rabbit. As he stood tall and pulled out a windmill shuriken, Kakashi ordered Tazuna and the rest of the team to duck down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. With the windmill shuriken aimed at the large sword, Kakashi positioned it to return to Haku, who was concealed behind the big trees. Kakashi was unable to sense Haku at the time, but that was the purpose of training. Haku was on the verge of death when he was startled to see the big sword approaching him. He tumbled down the trees after his jumping became uncoordinated. When the impact rendered his legs immobile, Haku swore. Then he rolled onto his stomach and pulled himself to safety. Kakashi's prior training and proficiency in silent killing allowed him to hear Haku's heartbeat. While keeping Tazuna safe, he gestured for him and his group to remain on the ground. Kakashi moved calmly and steadily in the direction of Haku's destination. When Zabuza's sword wasn't facing him, his eyes narrowed. Where's my sword? Were they killed? Smelling the air, he discovered that Haku was the only sign of blood. Shoot, he said, his eyes widening. To find Haku, he ran. A tiny trail of blood that led into a shaggy bush caught Kakashi's attention. Haku was there when he got there, and he appeared emotionless behind his mask. I know you're there. Haku fixed his gaze squarely on Kakashi's lone eye. Haku replied, don't come near me. I do not want to have to kill you. You should be worrying about yourself, Haku. Haku asked, "How do you know my name?" as his eyes grew wide. "I know both your and Zabuza's outcome after I complete this mission. And it will lead to both your guys' untimely death," Kakashi said after remaining silent. "And why do you think that, Kakashi? Cocky much, I must say. Even though you are an S-rank shinobi, doesn't mean you can kill everyone you cross," Zabuza said from behind Kakashi. Kakashi said, but you're practically powerless without your sword, aren't you, Zabuza?" With shark-like teeth, Zabuza grinned and said, "It seems to me that I'm pretty famous for you to know about me, Kakashi." After turning to face Zabuza, Kakashi threw a shuriken at him at the speed of light. Zabuza smiled and made a lightning-fast dodge of the projectiles. When Kakashi yelled, "Mizu no Tatsumaki," a tornado of water resembling a voting board whirled in the direction of Zabuza. When Zabuza yelled, "Mizu Bunshin no Jutsu," the water clone launched itself in front of the water tornado and struck it, rendering the sinister vortex ineffective. Kakashi leapt up on a thick tree branch with a sly smile. By colliding the kunai into a circle, like rotation between the trees, he threw them into a circle that was bound to return to Kakashi. He did this by attaching ninja wire to the handles of the kunai. Kakashi then used his chakra to cut the ninja wire after receiving the kunai back. He then fastened a second kunai to the bare end of the wire. A group of trees that were encircled in a circle around the Zabuza point were the target of this attack. As he tried to understand what Kakashi was attempting to do, Zabuza looked at him dumbly and asked, "Is he stalling, or is he just plain stupid to throw some kunai on some trees?" "Sweden. Suiryuden no Jutsu," Zabuza said, shrugging his shoulders before hurling the big water dragon beast swiftly in Kakashi's direction and onto the numerous blind spots Kakashi had withheld. Kakashi grinned and used chakra to enforce the ninja wire, sharpening it even further in a single swift motion. After that, he drew the wire forward while concentrating a great deal of chakra on his arms. This caused the wire to pierce through the trees and reach Zabuza and the water dragon, rendering them both ineffective. When Zabuza saw what had just transpired, he gaped in amazement. What the heck? Zabuza was covered in tons of trees, not enough to kill him but enough to render him immobile for a week. Bye, Zabuza. Kakashi grinned and said, to which Zabuza swore at him. After turning away from Zabuza, Kakashi shunned to where Tazuna and Team 7 were. Naruto let out a bored sigh. She turned to face Tazuna and the team and exclaimed, "Humph! Where the heck is Kakashi? Sensei?" Behind her neck, Kakashi answered, "I'm right here, Naru." "Eep!" she exclaimed, turning to face Kakashi. "Don't do that," she pointed accusingly at him. Kakashi let out a loud laugh. He said, "Come here." They went to where the now conscious Haku was after listening. "Who's that?" asked Sakura. "Are they dead?" she asked grimly. Kakashi replied, No, and then added, "A boy named Haku." After approaching him and prodding him with a stick, Naruto said, somewhat horrified, "Are you sure? Because I don't want anybody haunting me in the future for the rest of my life." Kakashi defended, "No, he's just unconscious, for sure. We'll leave him there for now." After squinting her eyes, Naruto gave in. Then she noticed a group of trees that had fallen to the ground. "Whoa, what happened here?" Then, smirking, Kakashi boasted, "Your sensei did it, ya know." The fact that some missing nin were still alive and would undoubtedly kill him soon made Tazuna a little uneasy. But he didn't say anything because he didn't want to argue with those who were assisting him. "What? But you seem weak," Naruto complained accusingly once more. Sakura and Sasuke nodded their heads as well. Kakashi was insulted in front of his eyes by his wife and students, which hit him in the ego. After feeling guilty for some reason, Naruto apologized and said, "Nah, we're just kidding, Kakashi. Sensei. Take a joke, will ya? We already knew you were the strongest sensei out of the other ones." When Kakashi realized that the mating mark was to blame, he grinned. He experienced a boost in his ego as well. He then said, "Why, thank you. Anyways, a missing nin, Zabuza of Kirigakure, is under that load of trees. But anyways, don't worry. We have to get Tazuna's and Wave's safety first in our set of priorities in this mission, got it?" After giving each other a nod, they started to head for shore and Wave. Tsunami gave her dad a worried glomp. She searched for wounds and other injuries but couldn't find anything. She set out to Team 7 and said, Thank you guys so much for letting us have the liberty of you on our side. Thank you for keeping my father safe. Come, you all must be hungry. Let's go inside my home and fix up a meal. I have 2 rooms already set up, And please would you arrange the sleeping arrangements? After showing Team 7 around the house, the middle-aged woman led them to her front door. After that, she escorted them to the dining table and served them delectable food that had been prepared. Naruto said, I've never really tried home-cooked meals before, but this is delicious. While Kakashi, who was sitting next to her, felt the genuine anguish in her heart, Sasuke and Sakura gazed sorrowfully at Naruto. Even though Team 7 was primarily made up of orphans, they were still able to enjoy home-cooked meals during their adolescence, prior to the passing of their parents. These things could be taken for granted, even though most people consider something as basic as a home-cooked meal prepared by your parents to be normal. Together, they exclaimed, "Itadakimasu," and began to devour their food. Insinuating to the three genin, Kakashi said, "Be sure to eat enough food, guys, because we would be training beginning today and continuing all week." First day. Okay, team, today, we will learn a chakra exercise, to which will help you to not waste chakra. Per se, an example to this is Naruto and her use of Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. I can tell that by the way she make her clones is with more than enough chakra to the, causing her to waste her chakra. He paused for a second. Also, this exercise, out of the many, will help you use not too little chakra for a jutsu to work by on. Another example of this is Naruto once again. Sometimes, when she uses her shadow clone technique, she uses a bit less chakra, however only a little less that it could still be manifested. However, these clones will be useless, due to the problem that it will be limited on a short period of time. Any questions? Sakura punched Naruto in the head for disrespecting the teacher, after she raised her hand and said, "Thanks for putting me on blast, Kakashi sensei." Ouch. With a productive gesture, Sakura held up her hand and said, "Wait. If a small amount of chakra can limit the time on, say, the shadow clone, then doesn't that mean vice versa, as in wouldn't it prolong the time limit to the Kage Bunshin?" Kakashi then replied, "In most cases, just one Kage Bunshin can eat up all of your chakra, making it useless in both manners, but, however, in Naruto's case, she has an abundant amount of chakra, meaning nothing to her, but in the real world, yes it does." Sasuke narrowed his eyes at Naruto's arrogant smirk. When Kakashi said, "Let's start," they broke off their little staring contest. "Today we will learn how to climb trees." Kakashi's pupils gave him a crazy look. With a sly smile, Kakashi scaled the tree without using his hands. The genin took notice of this. "Do you guys want to learn now?" Everyone nodded and turned to Kakashi for direction. Kakashi smiled and taught, "Well, first, you all have to gather chakra solely onto your feet. Try to use a minimum amount of chakra, meaning not too much or not too little. When you already focused your chakra to your feet, try to then focus most of the chakra to the heels of your feet, and then the rest of the chakra to the rest of your entire feet." The genins experimented with the new finding after allowing the information to sink into their brains. Sakura reached the top of the branch the first time, of course. This time, Sasuke and Naruto actually reached around 25% of the tree. Kakashi's eyes grew wide. "Wow. My genin are brilliant," he then said loudly. "Oh my goodness guys. I didn't even predict that this would happen. Especially since this is the first time you guys did this also. I knew that Sakura would make it to the top, but for you, Sasuke and Naruto, to be up a quarter. That's just amazing, considering the fact that both of you have bigger amounts of chakra." He complimented. They all blushed bashfully. "Stop it, Kakashi sensei. You're making me not focus on tree climbing from all of your niceness," Naruto screamed. The charge made Kakashi smile. Kakashi gave up, saying, Okay, I'll stop." Team 7 had formally mastered the tree climbing exercise by the end of 2 hours. "Whoa, Kakashi sensei, you're truly walking on water, it's like you're a magician," exclaimed Naruto in awe. Sasuke tried not to appear impressed as he said, "HN." Sakura said, "This is so cool, Kakashi sensei." According to Kakashi, "Why, thank you, now let's see." This is called the water walking exercise. This exercise is a lot more difficult than the last one because you're all walking on a moving surface. This means a lot more concentration in your matter. The motive of this exercise is to use a layer of chakra on your feet, in which using repellent force. My trick to this exercise is to gather the most chakra to the soles of your feet, because that is what you use to keep balance, such as the tree climbing exercise. However, the more difficult part of this challenge is that you are on moving water, meaning a constant change of chakra use. Now you guys try it. Sakura asked, "What about our clothes?" with a frown. "It doesn't matter, you can take them on or off," Kakashi said, turning to face her. Despite scowling, Sakura continued dressing. Fortunately, she had 3 extra outfits. She walked on it for about 20 seconds before slipping through the surface. Sakura continued the exercise multiple times, eventually mastering it and wobbling steadily across the lake. After grinning at her development, Kakashi turned to observe Sasuke's and Naruto's advancements. They had landed in the water after being on it multiple times. Kakashi called out to them, "Remember to only concentrate on your walking. Not about your surroundings or anything, except for your feet." Sasuke and Naruto glanced at Kakashi before joining forces. Their faces were set in a determined manner. Team 7 had partially mastered the water walking exercise by the end of 4 hours. With a smile, Kakashi playfully tousled the genin's hair. "Good job, team. You did very well today." They all flushed with shame. He complimented him, saying, "When I first started that exercise, I had actually taken about double the time you all had taken." Every member of the team, including Sasuke, had a slight smile on their face. If it were only like last time, if only I had actually taken notice of them and not have taken them for granted, then things would have been different, Kakashi thought with a neutral expression as he let out a nostalgic sigh. "Kakashi. Sensei? Is there something wrong?" scowled Naruto. Incredulously, Sakura, Sasuke, and Kakashi turned to face Naruto. As Kakashi put it, it must be the mark. The team gave him a strange look when he began to laugh uncomfortably and scratched the back of his head. "Ah, Naruto. I'm just jealous of all your guys' capabilities. That's all." When Kakashi said, "Let's get back inside to eat, it's almost dinner time," Naruto stopped narrowing her eyes. Team 7 made their way back to Tazuna's house on foot. Naruto cried out, Tsunami-san. This is so good, what is it?" "Thank you," Tsunami said with a smile in response to her compliment. "It's called shabu shabu, Naruto-chan." Sakura surveyed the medium-sized dining area. She glanced at a photograph that had a tear where a man's face should have been. Her emerald eyes narrowed. "Tsunami-san. Who's this supposed to be?" she asked. When the 3 members of the family lowered their heads in grief, the atmosphere in the dining room darkened. "The man who was torn out was my husband," said Tsunami first. Tazuna cut in, "He was a hero to this country and to my company. He had died for my sake because he had framed himself that he was the owner on my company, in which Gato took notice of treason. See here, that I have been one to steadily keep this country alive, with many others too, but we can only do so much." With angry eyes, Inari raised his head and said, "Tazuna, I hate you," to his grandfather. Tazuna flinched visibly, but since Inari had been calling him that name ever since that incident, he should get used to the new title anyhow. Inari continued, "And you guys trying to be heroes, because no matter how hard you try, Gato's only gonna beat you down where all of you belong. Because when facing the strong, only the weaker get killed. You all do not know about this country, so stop being nosy about it." Inari sniffled, "You don't know about me. You all are always so cheerful, so how would you all know how hard life can be? So, it's all okay for you to cry like a baby all day long?" Naruto said in a shuffle. She then got up, her long hair blowing in all directions, and yelled, "Just keep on crying about you big idiot. You're just being a big sissy," before fleeing the house and into the woods. Inari rushed out into his room as well. Tsunami shook her head when she noticed the chemistry in her family. She stood up and walked quickly to the room where Inari was so she could go comfort him. Taking note of this, Kakashi shook his head. Later that evening, Kaka out on the shore, "I noticed Inari," he said, "Hey," as he approached him silently. Haku stood up to get ready for the day. Rewind. "Zabuza, Zabuza, Zabuza. Get up." Haku gave his savior a shake. "Huh? What took place?" When he saw the numerous dead trees next to him, he let out a startled scream. "The Konoha.nin, said Haku, shaking his head. "I had a sneaking suspicion there were at least 3 more of them present. However, you need to exercise caution because one of them had a chakra as large as a cage's when I was sensing them." When Zabuza finally remembered, his eyes widened in surprise. "Kakashi," he snarled. When his legs refused to move, he made an unsuccessful attempt to stand up. He noticed that his legs were covered in bruises after shaking the branches and trees off of them. "Haku, assist me. It may take some time for this to heal." After giving a nod, Haku walked away from the forest. End of flashback. Haku walked along the path leading to the meadow, which was home to numerous medicinal herbs. Ahead he saw an orange figure. "Huh? What is that?" He narrowed his eyes, sensing a large chakra signature from it. Could it be a Konoha.nin member? He went to find out because he noticed that the person was either sleeping or simply lying down. Haku chose to wake her up after noticing that it was a girl. Naruto yawned. Huh? When she saw a gorgeous girl, her eyes widened. Then, what's going on here? Asked Naruto. Haku replied, it is about 10 o'clock, and you are still laying about. I decided to wake you up. However, why is it that you are sleeping here? 'Cause children are stupid, was Naruto's direct response. Excuse me? Haku asked, raising a brow at this. Naruto sighed, it's 'cause I dislike it when people go and jump the gun and judge me for who I am or am not. Haku smiled at this and said, I, for one, actually know how you feel. Because of who I am. My heritage was wiped out because some people decided that we were different. Haku then continued, however, because of one person, I decided that life was worth living for, because now I have a precious person. Don't you have many precious people worth fighting for? I also have many precious people in my life too, Naruto said, her cerulean eyes widening at this. Haku. Iruka? Sensei. Gigi, the Isarakus, Matim, and I can't think of anyone else that goes by the names Uzumaki and Naruto. Are you just going to lie down there, or are you going to help me? Haku asked Naruto with a charming smile. Yes, am I? Naruto said with a smile. Then Haku said, by the way, I'm a guy. With her jaw dropped, Naruto stumbled down to assist the now-boy, Haku. The last time Fam-7 had the Tazuna wave mission, Kakashi whistled down the road to where Naruto was found. This time, however, Kakashi was going to find Naruto, not Sasuke. I'm happy to spend more time with my dear. Before he saw Haku, he practically skipped to the meadow. Kakashi narrowed his eyes and growled threateningly at no one in particular, saying, this Haku kid better not steal my girl. Ha ha ha. Time for rude interruption time. He cackled in his head. Then, Kakashi pulled out his book and made his way over to the conversationalists. Oh, hello, Naru. He moved between the two, facing his chest toward Naruto and his back toward Haku. What are you doing here, Kakashi? Sensei? Asked Naruto, narrowing her eyes. She inquired dutifully. Well, Naru, would you mind attending this training session as we are just getting started? Naruto's eyes grew incredibly wide. Wah. Kakashi. Sensei, how are we going to proceed? He whispered in her ear, you'll have to come with me to find out. When he was ignored, Haku's eyes narrowed, but when he saw Kakashi narrow his eyes at him while talking to Naruto, his eyes widened. Haku called out for Naruto, thinking in a panic, he knows. He must have been spying on us during our last conversation. Naruto. Chan, goodbye. I must leave now. With a sly smile on his face, Kakashi took Naruto by the arm and pulled her along with him. Day 2. Naruto. Chan, don't hang out with strangers. In particular, boys, Kakashi cautioned. After giving him a strange look, Naruto declared, Kakashi. Sensei, I'm a kunoichi. Doesn't mean you can go to strangers, you know. Sakura and Sasuke were waiting for them when they arrived at their training location. Sakura gave Naruto a worried but reprimanding look, while Sasuke showed no emotion. Today, team, you are going to learn Bukajutsu, began Kakashi. Hiruzen stumbled upon a letter while completing his paperwork on his desk. He inquired, noting that the print date was roughly 3 months ago. My paperwork's this old? The elderly Sarutobi squinted. He placed the letter with the words, Tazuna of Wave, on the opposite side. Wasn't Tazuna the one who was here earlier? Hiruzen asked, raising his eyebrows at this point. He then opened the letter. Greetings, Hokage. Sama, this letter, which is not a complaint, is to inform you of the shinobi that was sent to us for our request for a C rank during this time. Since the shinobi, Jonin, was declared absent, we would like to have another one sent as soon as possible. I assumed something was wrong because he did not arrive at the designated rendezvous point by the scheduled time. Regards, Waves. Tazuna. Hiruzen was curious about the identity of the shinobi, so he looked through the mission scrolls from the previous 3 months. As he entered the C-ranked section, the list became much more specialized, particularly when he looked for Junins. When he entered the H section, his eyes narrowed. Tazuna, Wave, Wave, Wave. Kakashi, Hitaki? Today, team, we will learn Bukajutsu. Jumping up and down, Naruto held up her hand and exclaimed, Nay, nay, Kakashi. Sensei. What's Bukajutsu? Sakura answered for Kakashi, You baka, don't you ever listen in class, you dummy head. Bukajutsu is the art of weaponry, such as shuriken and kunai, and swords, etc. are more defined, Bukajutsu are techniques that entail the use of any handheld weapons in combat, whether the users are either shinobi or samurai. Kakashi praised Sakura, saying, "Correct, Sakura." "Wait. What do you mean, learn, Kakashi? Sensei? Didn't we already learn about this in the academy?" Naruto chuckled. "Yes, but since you didn't know what Bukajutsu was, Naruto, that means you didn't learn it. And anyways, this will be a more advanced training. Here, I'll test your Bukajutsu skills right now," Kakashi clarified. When Sasuke learned of this advanced training, he sneered, assuming it would not go beyond his already vast Bukajutsu territory. When Kakashi saw this, he grinned. All three genin followed Kakashi to a training area he had set up. 3 targets were nailed to each of the 3 stumps that were spread out in front. Kakashi explained, "I want you all to try and to get 5 or more kunai or shuriken on your targets. You will all be 30 meters away in the beginning, and will proceed to go 5 meters farther after each time you all successfully hit on the target. Also, if you hit exactly on the bullseye, proceed 2 more meters than the original, counting in all, 7 meters. So the maximum you all can do is 50 meters if you only hit the target with no bullseyes, and 58 meters if you hit all bullseyes." Kakashi took a breather. "Also, if you do not hit the target 5 times successfully by the time limit, which is an hour and 30 minuets, then there will be a punishment, got it?" The goal was the same for all 3 genin, to attempt to hit the target at least 5 times. Kakashi instructed the 3 to get ready using any kunai and shuriken they may have. Then he uttered, "Start." Sakura, Naruto, and Sasuke paced to the 30-meter mark, ahead of their targets, and began striking them. Naturally, Sasuke hit the first target on its bullseye and continued to 37 meters. When Sasuke turned to face Naruto, she saw his arrogant comment and gritted her teeth. She hit her target on its 3rd line after 3 tries. She continued for another 35 meters. When Sakura noticed that she was falling behind, she began to throw her shuriken incorrectly. On her 5th attempt, she eventually hit the target on its 5th line, and she continued to go 35 meters. 10 minutes have elapsed during this action. However, Sasuke managed to reach the next 7 meters after striking the target on its bullseye once more. Sakura's subsequent swipe was precise, causing her to advance 5 meters on her subsequent attempt. After her 7th attempt, Naruto went on 5 meters. 20 more minutes have gone by this time. Sasuke completed his training with 53 meters in the following 45 minutes. Sakura completed 50 meters in the following 15 minutes, and Naruto completed 45 meters by the end. They were all instructed to retrieve their thrown shuriken and kunai, and after completing their assignments, they were all left to wait in the shade. Now that she had a punishment to retrieve, Naruto gulped when she saw Kakashi approaching them. A tiny hint of timidity crept into Kakashi's heart. First facing Naruto, he stood before his team. When Kakashi began to say, "Naruto, be ready, I'll decide your punishment later," she gulped once more. When Kakashi turned to face the other members of the team, Naruto let out a sigh. "Okay. Good job guys. Even though that improved your training quite a bit, I'm still going to train you with a better method, moving targets." Everyone on the team arched an eyebrow. "First, I need you, Naruto, to help me," Kakashi said with a smile. "What do you need me to do, Kakashi? Sensei?" Naruto approached him. "I need you to create about 100 shadow clones for me." Then she crossed her fingers and said, Sure, okay. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu." Sakura and Sasuke gazed at Naruto incredulously, but they both gasped when she produced 100 clones. Naruto grinned at Sasuke's startled expression. She taunted him by slurring, "Betcha can't do this, Teme." Trying to ignore her taunts, Sasuke turned to Kakashi and glared at her. Sakura yelled at Naruto, "Naruto! Baka! How dare you disrespect Sasuke-kun!" Sakura then proceeded to beat Naruto, who was yelling in fear of the extremely aggressive Sakura. "Wait, guys," Kakashi said in between. "The reason why I told Naruto to make the shadow clones are that they are supposed to be the moving targets. Wow. I was brought to this world only to be a moving target. Who do you think we are? Do you know clones have lives too? And I'm outta here," were among the complaints made by the 100 clones. "Be quiet you dummies," said the real Naruto. "Who do you think you are, huh? You wanna fight me?" the clones retorted. When Naruto angrily retorted, "Oh, bring it on," all of the clones fell on him, and he yelled, "I'm your creator, so you should obey me. She's a tyrant. We're living under a tyrant." The antics of Naruto and her other selves caused the rest of the team to perspire. Kakashi intervened once more to save Naruto. "Wait, Kakashi. Sensei, how'd ya know this was the real me? She asked him after he had her out. Oh, lucky guess? I mean you were the loudest one there, Kakashi said, almost giving away his position. Naruto gave him a strange look before grinning broadly. Kakashi smiled at her as well, sucking in his breath as his heart raced. Naruto tangled out of his arms as she noticed the creases in his mask, which made her heart skip a beat. Naruto's face was flushed with embarrassment. Sakura and Sasuke appeared dubious about their relationship. Okay, all of you will be moving targets for your creator and her teammates, okay? Kakashi said to the clones as he fled the humiliation. Naruto gaped as Kakashi simply ordered them as though they were his, and all of the clones nodded. Kakashi then turned to his team and said, remember, teamwork is always the answer. And if you use this teamwork correctly and doing so by hitting 100 clones, I might train you all in a jutsu that I'll recommend or that you want individually. After giving this careful consideration, Naruto, Sakura, and even Sasuke nodded in agreement. Wait, they're not going to fight or anything? Kakashi asked, his eyes widening. Is it that simple? Kakashi gave a headshake. He signaled the shadow clones to begin moving so they would stay clear of any weapons that were thrown at them. Additionally, Kakashi instructed them to attempt attacking the trio. Alright, now the clones are set up to try to attack you as well. Go. Kakashi exhaled deeply. Naruto and Sakura nodded as Sasuke gestured for them to follow his movements and read through them. Naruto and Sakura followed Sasuke as he began by drawing a shuriken for each finger crease. Then, squatting, Sasuke turned to face Naruto. When Naruto realized this, her eyes widened. As if it were spring, she leapt on the hinds behind his back, spinning around and landing precisely on 8 clones. Sakura turned to Sasuke for direction, and he gestured for her to throw the shuriken in a X pattern, eliminating 4 clones in the process. Kakashi examined a dozen clones. When they defeated at least 10 clones, Sasuke let out a sigh. Then, his feet coated in chakra, he ran up a tree. Then he deliberately stepped on a dead branch, removing 4 clones beneath it. After flipping backwards, he blew on 14 clones with his cuffed shuriken hands. Kakashi examined 30 of the clones. Sasuke came to a standing position. After that, Naruto instructed Sakura to connect their arms from their elbows from their backs. Sakura was to rotate while lifting Naruto up. 10 more clones were blown up by this success. Kakashi examined 40 clones. Sakura and Naruto headed towards the lake together, their right and left arms linked. You see, the 5 clones on the waterbed were equally as nervous about water walking as Naruto was. However, Sakura supported Naruto by the arm, making the 2 of them an unstoppable force. Kakashi examined 45 of the clones. A throng of clones surrounded Sakura and Naruto as they returned to the land. After noticing this, Sasuke vanquished the 5 surviving Narutos. He landed next to his back partners after jumping from the tree. When the numerous clones surrounded them, he joined in with their backs. Each of the 3 defeated 10 Naruto clones after they slashed and hacked at them. Kakashi examined 80 of the clones. Together, the 3 set out to locate the final 20. Kakashi eventually succeeded in checking out 100 clones when they were finished. Sweat and dirt were all over the 3 of them, and they were panting heavily. With each back, they all collapsed to the ground. When he noticed that each student's teamwork was free of malice, Kakashi grinned sincere. When he had each water, Kakashi grinned even more at how diligent you all were. He concluded, good job, guys. I'm so proud of you all. You all deserve the reward. Naruto yelled, wow, I totally forgot about that, loudly. As they all nodded, Sakura and Sasuke furrowed their brows. Then everyone, including Sasuke, grinned. They all walked back to Tazuna's house after Kakashi helped them up. Naruto questioned, what is it this time, Tsunami-san? Tsunami gave a maternal response, oh, Naruto-chan, today, we're eating Oden. Naruto grinned when she learned that dinner would be served with yet another new dish. Father, I'll have to clean the dishes now. Would you mind taking care of the groceries for me? Tsunami called out to Tazuna as the group finished their dinner. All right then, said Tazuna. Since it was already 8 o'clock, Naruto appeared perplexed. Wait, why now? It's dark out and the moon is shining, she asked. Tsunami sighed, this is going to be our average lifestyle from now because Gato is getting control of the marketing slowly, and especially since I came from father's family. His guards are now resting, so now we all have the chance to shop more relaxed. Oh, said Kakashi, I know your punishment now, Naruto. You have to get the groceries. Wah. Wait, at night? Naruto asked, shivering. Well, Kakashi replied, it is a punishment. What if the ghost catches me? Naruto thought, furrowing her brows. Outside, though, Naruto yelled. Humph. Are you underestimating me, Kakashi? Sensei? Well, it'll be an easy task anyway, so ha. When Kakashi sensed her darkest, most fearful ghosts, he shook his head in amusement. Naruto became agitated when he clicked his tongue, and she mockingly retorted, huh? What are you trying to say, Kakashi? Sensei? She pouted as Kakashi simply laughed her off. He then told her, fine then, suit yourself, Naru. I was going to go with you anyways, but seems to me that you don't need it. Go later in about 10 minuets. Bye. As Kakashi turned the corner, Naruto saw his back vanish. Nervous, she bit her fingernails. Darn it, I have just 5 minutes. Naruto bolted from the house and into the forest. Despite believing in ghosts, Naruto didn't seem like the kind of person who would genuinely be afraid of them. Hoping to find the shopping district closer than usual, she sulkily skipped through the woods. Creak, crunched a heap of forest. Heading back, Naruto snapped. What on earth was that? At first, she thought, oh, that must be my imagination. Crackle was the same sound, but it lasted longer. What the fuck? Naruto walked with a faster gait. She was now running, and her arms swung violently from side to side. Wah. Wait, she thought. I read this in an article. Ghosts will become even more attracted if you flee from them, making it impossible to avoid them. Naruto was now experiencing mental panic. Remain calm at all times. They won't cause you any harm. Boo. With a shriek stuck in her mouth, Naruto dashed from the clearing as quickly as she could. The creature pursued her until Naruto got close enough to leap on it. Well, attack Naru? That was something I'd always wanted to do, the thing thought. Then, as Naruto screamed for her life, it literally leapt on her. The object prevented her mouth from opening even wider. Naruto noticed that this creature was dressed entirely in black, consisting solely of a black trash bag with cutouts of faces. Who the devil is this thing about? Then she started removing its costume. When the silver head emerged, she squinted. Then she opened them wide, saying, Kakashi, sensei. What? Why are you even dressed like this, and chasing me? According to Kakashi, just because. I thought you told me that you weren't gonna walk me, she said, her eyes narrowing. Why would I leave a young lady, such as yourself, to go out alone when Gado's men could still be out? Naruto gave Kakashi a sincere look and said, he cares. Kakashi grinned at her intense emotions. He then added, I dressed up like a ghost because when I found out that you were afraid of them, I just couldn't resist. And anyways, it was also part of your punishment. By the way, you're so easy to read, almost like a book. Naruto gave him a hiss. Come on, said Kakashi with a bright smile, let's go get some groceries. Okay, let's get items. You'll go to that aisle, and I'll go to this one. We'll have to get some tomatoes and potatoes, milk, soybeans, bean sprouts, radish, chicken, pork, and beef, oh, and fish. Now for the fruits. Peaches, strawberries, apples, and pears. Tsunami said that these things were always in packages, so we don't need to worry about size or amount. So then you, Naru, will get the fruits and meats, and I'll get the rest. Kakashi clarified. Huh, okay. This'll be far more easier than if I had to go alone. Thanks, Kakashi. Sensei, said Naruto. Kakashi stretched his back and grinned. He strolled to his section of the supermarket. Day 3 Kakashi informed his team, today, we are going to enhance your bukajutsu skills and more. Now they appeared more intrigued. Today, we will learn how to have more speed, Kakashi said with a smile. They frowned, Naruto asked, but didn't we also have this training on the academy, and by the way, aren't shinobi supposed to have more speed than the average civilian? On that, you are correct, but the more speed the better. If your opposed has the skill set of 4 speed points, and you only have 2, who do you think will win? Said Kakashi. The hidden meaning of a quick death made Naruto frown. Then, like the rest of the team, she nodded her head. Kakashi brightened up. Here are some weights that are 10 pounds. By the time you can run this field 5 times successfully and not dying in exhaustion, I will grant 5 more pounds to your weights. So firstly, you start with 5 pounds on each leg. This number will maximize to about maybe 50 pounds if you are very motivated. But, let's make a deal. Kakashi added, You all don't have to do any D-rank missions for a whole week if only one of you gets to 50 pounds by the end of this week, which is in 4 days, to their curious thoughts. The eyes of the 3 youngest members of the team widened. Sasuke's and Naruto's faces were marked with rivalry. Naruto said, "Bring it on, Kakashi." "Sensei," as she was at the start of the field after they exchanged smirks. "But I haven't improved your Bukajutsu skills yet," Kakashi told her. The team collapsed to the ground, bored. The team eventually improved their Bukajutsu skills in roughly 2 hours. "Waits time," declared Kakashi. "Nay, Kakashi. Sensei, how will using training weights affect our speed positively? I mean, aren't they going to rip our muscles?" Sakura asked as the 3 genin ran over to Kakashi. Naruto said out loud, imagining, ripping muscles? She gave Kakashi a horrified look. When Kakashi said, "No. I mean, yes, they will rip your muscles," she was cut off. "Rip the muscles?" cried Naruto in horror. Kakashi continued to defend himself. "This training process will rip your muscles apart, by slightly stretching them. However, after your muscles completely heal, a new layer of muscles appear, in which making you accelerate in your speed. This, of course, is the traditional way to increase one's speed, as shinobi of all kind have been doing it for centuries, so nothing too harmful here." He took items that appeared to be beads. Kakashi explained, "These are prayer beads that a friend gave to me." He thought about Gai. It's a type of fuinjutsu, which is naturally called sealing technique. 4 limbs waiting seal. Each of these beads glow different colors, which signifies the stage of your training. It glows white, to blue, to yellow, to green, and then lastly red. If you reach the color red, then that means that you have completed your 50 pounds, 25 pounds on each leg, ankle. After that, Kakashi distributed the weights, 3 sets total, weighing 10 pounds each. He went on to say, "I rigged it so that it can hold up to 50 pounds. The 3 attached the weights to their legs with buckles. Their legs weighed 5 pounds each, which was sufficient to keep them moving quickly. After that, they went to the handcrafted running course and completed 5 fast runs in under 5 minutes. Kakashi said, Good job guys. Not too shabby for some fresh genins." In order to make their weights weigh an additional 2.5 pounds on each leg, their beads glowed blue. They invested a total of 15 pounds in their training. The pupils completed 5 more laps in roughly 8 minutes, running a little more slowly this time. They gained an additional 2.5 pounds in each leg as their beads began to glow a light blue. After that, Kakashi brought them in for a 10-minute break. Naruto complained, "Wait, I could do more, Kakashi-sensei. Yes, I know that all of you have enough stamina each to go another 5 laps, but it's not so good to your muscles, as they might become permanently damaged. Allow them to heal so that you will have much more of a capacity of speed and usefulness." Then Naruto said, "'Kay then." The 3 genins walked back to their training course to start another session after 10 minutes. Team 7 finished the day by honing their Bukajutsu techniques and increasing their speed to the color yellow. Kakashi was considering how he could get his students ready for the impending battle between Team 7 and Zabuza and Haku. The only way to do so is to gain more power, he sighed. Perhaps I should have left them to fight Zabuza. Laughing. No, I simply cannot return to the past. Perhaps I ought to awaken the Sharingan. Day 4. Training will be a little different today, as it will be a survival test, Kakashi stated. Sakura stated, "But didn't we already do one in the beginning of this genin course?" "Yes, but this will be a real-world training experience. More deadly. It will teach you about what shinobi life is like, what you all chose to be or what you were brought up to be," said Kakashi. They all swallowed, and Sasuke even let out a little swallow. Kakashi continued, "Imagine that enemy shinobi surround your camping area, what would you do? This will test out all your guys' skill set, whether or not you're ready for the real world." Kakashi hid behind a bush and said, "Begin." Back.to. Back, crouching, and prepared for battle were Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke. In the midday sun, their sharp shuriken and slippery kunai gleamed. Only the sounds of breathing and heartbeats could be heard in the quiet silence. Boom. Their back.to. Back performance was interrupted by the drawing of an explosive kunai. When a bouquet of shuriken descended upon them, they dispersed into their hiding spots. They had an intruder who moved quickly. "Speed," Naruto said, squinting her eyes before opening them wide. Futon. Daitopa. Just as Naruto was about to deactivate her weights, a sudden gust of wind blew her off course. She quickly turned off her weights and ducked under the next gust of wind. Dang! she exclaimed as she dashed to where Sakura and Sasuke were. As light as a feather, I feel. As she ran, she thought chirpily. Sakura-chan, Teme. Deactivate your weights. It'll give y'all enough speed to avoid the incoming attacks, said Naruto. Kaden. Gokakyu no Jutsu. The three genins dodged low to avoid the huge fireball that skittered toward them. Sasuke acted and dispatched an exploding kunai. The fireball originated from the middle of the 5 trees array. Since it appears that the fireball was in the center, Kakashi Sensei must be looking at the third brand from the bottom. Then I ought to strike. Squinting, Sasuke positioned himself. The distance between his location and the tree was approximately 45 meters, making it a medium task. He pondered, Bukajutsu. From his position, he fired the kunai diagonally, striking the tree precisely where it stood. It blew up. There were no indications of silver anywhere when Sasuke ran to the area. Where the H? Kakashi replied, looking for me. He was attacked by Sasuke. This made Kakashi think of the bell test, and he grinned. Kakashi then showed Sasuke the bells and said, let's say that I have 2 bells. You only have to take one from me, and a great prize will come your way for sure. The afternoon sun made them gleam in Sasuke's eyes. Ready, begin, said Kakashi. Kakashi, who was actually a shadow clone, was struck in the torso by Sasuke's kunai. Despite his clenched teeth, he listened to a wishing sound. Kakashi was prepared with his tanto. Sasuke's eyes narrowed. Kakashi said, attack for the kill. That the answer to your success in this little test. Sasuke swiped once more, but Kakashi's tanto blocked his kunai. After that, the tanto slashed down, shattering Sasuke's skin barrier and sending blood streaming down his arms. While holding the kunai in his other hand, he gripped his arm tightly. He let out a battle cry and rushed with all of his strength in Kakashi's direction. Kakashi easily avoided his offenses. Sasuke alone was the target of another fireball. Then he hid in a bush close by, his eyes widening. Now that he needed his teammates, he scampered off the field where Kakashi was. When Sasuke finally realized how important teamwork is, Kakashi grinned. To see what his team was up to, he walked slowly and deliberately for the team's benefit. At last, Sasuke had located his 2 teammates. Sakura was pacing beside Naruto as he considered a strategy. Sakura exclaimed, Sasuke-kun. You're alive, as soon as she saw Sasuke. Ignoring her, Sasuke said, we need to work together. Sakura and Naruto gave him strange looks. No offense, I mean, offense Sasuke. You're a power hog, Naruto continued. On the side of Sasuke's forehead was a tick mark. Remember when we had our teamwork exercise during the Bukajutsu lesson? Well, I think we need to do the same today, because I can't hold off one Junin by myself. Sasuke said, ignoring her, with a lower than usual last past. Naruto's forehead was sprained. Oh, a Sasuke-kun. Shy, aren't we? Exclaimed Sakura. Sasuke clenched his teeth and left. Wait, do you really mean it, Teme? Naruto resisted him. Sasuke nodded while giving her a scowl. We need a plan, she said with a smile. Naruto made every effort to blend in as he ran from tree to tree. She gestured with her hand for Sakura and Sasuke to emerge from hiding and approach her. In an attempt to locate Kakashi, Naruto made the signs of the 10-cage bunshin to scatter everywhere. At last, one approached her and informed her that Kakashi was east of them, behind a bush. As Sakura prepared the explosive kunai, she bit her lip. She gave it to the most adept Ame, Sasuke, who had aimed it and fired it to Kakashi's hiding place. Kakashi rolled out of the bush and swore. He made 2 shadow clones in secret to disperse. As he approached them, Sasuke leapt in front of him and exclaimed, Kaden. Gokakyu no Jutsu. Suijin Heki. Kakashi performed quick hand seals, and a wall of water materialized around him, causing the fireball that struck it to steam. In front of Kakashi, Naruto exited and assumed a taijutsu stance. She created 5 more clones, all of whom were prepared and in the same position. They circled him, and Kakashi deduced that it had to be Naruto Renden, the Uzumaki, the first one left. With a U, he grabbed Naruto's left leg and swung her to the goring, causing her to spew out. Next, bottom. Zu, he said, kicking the clone to the ground. All right, M.A. He twisted away from the impact and used a kunai to cut the clone. Again, left. Ki. The clone was flung off course once more. And finally, in back. Naruto. Kakashi grabbed onto Naruto's final dropkick and threw her to the lake for a more comfortable landing. Sakura quickly charged at Kakashi and threw a punch, but it was gently landed on her back. Kakashi then used the opportunity to sprint in Sasuke's direction. Sasuke.kun, Sakura said, her emerald eyes widening. Naruto dashed to the location from the water. Two shadow clones of Kakashi were approaching Sasuke and Sakura as they turned a corner. She ran fast and arrived at her destination. Guys, are you okay? They gave a head nod. Kaden, Gokakyu no Jutsu, and Futon, Daitopa were the Kakashi clones that interrupted Naruto as he was about to speak. Sasuke pushed Sakura and Naruto behind him because he knew what was about to happen. Sasuke! Screamed Sakura and Naruto. A blue fire bullet sped in their direction. A flash of light appeared as the blue light grew larger and larger. Then someone shouted, Sweden! Suijinheki, in front of the three. The blue fire steamed out completely as the same water wall materialized. The thought of finally understanding what the adage, your life flashing before your eyes, actually meant made all three genin tremble. Because he had first row seats to witness and experience the heat of the winged enhanced fireball, Sasuke was the most terrified. As the other genin imitated, he gazed at Kakashi with bright eyes. With a sheepish scratch on the back of his head, Kakashi handed Sasuke both bells and said, well, at least you guys get the bell now. Sasuke asked, why do you give me both the bells, Kakashi? Sensei? After casting a bewildered glance at Kakashi. I have them both to you because you have earned your prize, look. When Kakashi placed his tanto in front of Sasuke's face, his yes widened significantly. My .my Sharingan. Kakashi. Sensei, you? Kakashi gave nod. Sasuke went on, murmuring, thank you very much. Behind his mask, Kakashi gave a sincere smile. Naruto smiled and felt a hilt of compassion in her heart, calming her heartbeat. Sakura also grinned, but not because of Sasuke's accomplishment but rather because of his happiness and well-being. She concluded that she genuinely enjoyed this aspect of Sasuke. Come on guys, let's go eat dinner. You know how Tsunami.san does not like us laid out, even though we are trained shinobi, suggested Kakashi. When Team 7 returned to the house, they all grinned because, for the first time, they truly felt like a family. Naruto said, thank you for the food, Tsunami.san. With grace. She watched as Inari hurried into the kitchen. Humph, I shouldn't even be worried about that dummy. Sissy, she sighed, thinking of Inari. He only thinks about himself and not even about other people. However, it seems to me that he has had a difficult life. Since he just witnessed his death in front of him, I imagine I would also be traumatized. A shout of, I'm so sorry, Chan, interrupted Naruto's train of thought. Naruto's eyes narrowed and then widened. Wait, is that you, Inari? I'm so sorry, Chan, I should have thought about other people's feelings and not about myself. I didn't know about your life story. Huh? Who told you that? Kakashi, sensei did. Rewind. Inari was sitting on the pier when Kakashi went out to find her. They were both staring at the glowing moon now, and he sat beside him. Did you know that Naruto had a very tough life while growing up? Kakashi asked Inari, who was crying. What are you talking about? Inari asked Kakashi with a doubtful gaze. She is constantly so joyful and carefree. You can be fooled by appearances. On the inside, though, Naruto is scarred because she never had a typical upbringing. Her parents had passed away at the time of her birth, so she didn't have them to remember. To make matters worse, no one had taken the time to adopt her because she was a rejected orphan and the village outcast. Since birth, she had been a child without parents. She was determined to be noticed and needed for once, though, so she kept her head up. That was how she had always been, ever since I can remember. Kakashi kept applying salt to Inari's wounds, saying, you shouldn't take your family for granted just yet. You still have your mother, who loves and cares for you, and your grandfather, who has the guts to improve the country in which you live. Your father probably gave his life freely, just as your grandfather probably would have. It's evident to me that your grandfather adores you. After that, Kakashi returned home, leaving Inari to think things through. Final flashback. As she considered what Kakashi had said about her, Naruto furrowed her brows. As Inari continued to observe her, she lowered her head in a pout. Are you okay, San? Yes, I am. I just need to cool off my head. Following sunset in the meadow where she and Haku first met, Naruto laid down by her back. As she considered what Inari had just said, she let out a sigh for the 50th time. Kakashi. Sensei knew. Well, everyone knew. But he told about my life to someone to compare it to. What does it signify? Does this imply that I am merely a sympathy orphan who exists merely to demonstrate that someone mockingly cares about me? Or does it imply that, like Iruka, Sensei, Kakashi, Sensei genuinely cares about me as a student and an equal? From Naruto's point of view, she could and will always be uncomfortable with compassion. This, of course, was a product of her early years. At Tezuna's house, Kakashi was letting Sasuke in after exiting the shower. When Kakashi's mask and hide remained on, Sasuke squinted. Kakashi gazed at Sasuke, who glared back at him as he examined his face. Simply shrugging his shoulders, Kakashi entered the bedroom. Kakashi's back was the target of Sasuke's glare. After changing, Kakashi went into the kitchen to get some water while still wearing his nightwear. His bangs were on his forehead, as they had been when he was still a genin, and his silver hair dipped more than usual down to his face. When he heard no high-pitched screams, shrieks, or Naruto-like noises, he ruffled his silver hair and wondered in confusion. Naruto, where could you have gone? Kakashi moaned. He sagged into a couch nearby and sat down inconspicuously beside Inari. Inari shifted around, unsure of what to say or do. When he went to ask Kakashi for the assistance he needed, he scowled. His words were, Kakashi. Sensei. Kakashi furrowed his brow and asked, who the hell said that? Kakashi felt a pat on his shoulder as he glanced around. Kakashi saw Inari when he turned around. In response, Kakashi said, ahem. Yes? Inari's scowl deepened. His question was, I don't know where Naruto is at. Kakashi squeezed his eyes shut. He then asked, do you have any clue where she is at, Inari-kun? Of course, that's why it's so quiet here. Inari gave a negative shake of his head. Kakashi sighed and cocked his neck. She left when I apologized to her, Inari continued. Mentality problems. Kakashi sighed again, then quickly thanked him before heading out to find Naruto. As Naruto slept on her back, the stars shone brightly. She crushed a small flower as she twitched to the right. There were tiny water spots on Naruto's back due to the slight dew created by the light fog that surrounded Wave. Wave didn't seem to have any issues with Naruto's surroundings because they were so calm. A gust of wind blew toward Naruto, causing her to shiver. Still in a deep sleep, she held onto her jacket. A snore escaped her lips. If I recall correctly, the last time Naruto went out because of Inari was when she was in the same meadow with Haku in it too, Kakashi thought as he headed into the woods. He brushed aside the tree branches and leaves that stood in his path. Kakashi's nostrils were assaulted by the scent of nature. A tiny orange figure caught his attention, and he narrowed his eyes a little. Naruto. Kakashi's leg started to sting. Stupid civilian clothes, he sarcastically said. Kakashi seemed so sentimental as he approached the meadow. Rewind. Look, 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 Kaka. Sensei. 16-year-old Naruto cried out. Kakashi looked in the direction of his name's voice. When he saw Naruto, he smiled and went to where she was. It's a meadow of flowers. I can't believe it, she let out a sorrowful sigh, probably one of the last since the war started. When Naruto was stuck in the past, Kakashi detested it because it depressed her. Naruto and Kakashi were destined to become closer over the many months they spent together as the war's offensive side and on the same teams, but not close enough for Kakashi. On the one hand, Kakashi was content with his current situation, but on the other, he desires more. Naturally, though, Naruto deserved a better partner than her rusty, 30-year-old, and particularly sensei. When the person you love is so close to you but also so far away, falling in love is never easy. He rubbed both eyes, revealing dark bags under the sole eye. Despite the excruciating pain in both of his legs, Kakashi ran to where Naruto was. He sighed as he took a seat next to Naruto. During the war, it was extremely uncommon to witness such a stunning sight. Naruto rested her head on Kakashi's shoulder, which greatly reassured him. He also let out a peaceful sigh. After a moment of narrowing her eyes, Naruto remarked, "Are you not tired, Kakashi? Sensei?" Kakashi gave nod. "Me too," Naruto went on. "All I want is for this war to end quickly. The medical and food rations are insufficient these days, after all. Everyone will have limited access until the next shipment arrives. The poverty in the other countries that the Akatsuki army and shinobi trampled due to this war is unbearable to me. The sight of the war orphans is also unbearable to me." Kakashi's hand moved to lightly brush against Naruto's tamed golden mane. I can't stand to see it either, but that's what happens during a war, he comforted. Even though I've been on 2 already, witnessing the events and results of the war still makes me uneasy. Naturally, there will be a lot of hardships following this war, including increased poverty, higher taxes, reconstruction, and so forth. Occasionally, when war becomes even more violent, those involved in and out of the conflict descend to such a low level that they begin ruthlessly murdering women, children, and people of all ages who have nothing to do with the conflict. But rest assured, everything will be fine, he said with ease. That's exactly what I needed, Kakashi. Sensei, Naruto said, knitting her eyebrows together and grinning slightly. With his mask covering his blush, Kakashi returned her smile. Do you want to eat right now? Kakashi said kindly, if you want, you can have my share of rations. Playfully, Naruto punched him in the arm and said, Kakashi. Sensei, you must eat as well, of course. You went 2 days without eating. She reprimanded, grinning like a fox. In response, Kakashi said, you didn't either. Come on, let's just eat our own shares, Naruto said with another smile. We will be called back for battle in just 15 more minuets. Thus, Kakashi. Sensei, you had better eat. Or else, she said threateningly in the final sentence. Through his mask, Kakashi grinned as he made his way to the lunch area to retrieve their meal. Final flashback: Naruto's loud snore reverberated across the meadow. Shaking his head, Kakashi said, even in public. He carried her tenderly, in bridal fashion, and ran back to Tazuna's house quickly but calmly. He placed her gently on the bed as he leapt through Naruto's guest room and entered the room. Kakashi kissed the top of her head and opened the door just enough to let him in, saying, Sweet dreams, Naru. With Kakashi gone, Naruto's snores suddenly stopped. He does care, she said with a smile as she sat up on the bed. With a genuine smile, she returned to her slumber. The light spilled onto Naruto's face through the window. Now that she was awake, she noticed that her room was in ruins. She squinted but ignored the issue. She prepared herself. Inari moved in his chair downstairs. He considered how he would confront Naruto about his apology. She cried out, Wah. Wait, what's the time? As he watched her dash down the stairs. Tsunami asked, 10 a.m., why? After taking a quick look at the time. Naruto exclaimed, 2 hours, and fled the house. Tsunami shouted to Naruto, what about breakfast? As Inari and Tsunami gave him a strange look. Naruto merely gestured with her hand. Day 5. Naruto stopped suddenly and rested her hands on her thighs, panting breath in and out. When they saw Naruto, the other members of Team 7 scowled. HN, Dobi. Why are you so late? Asked Sasuke. Shut up, Teme. That's your fault for not waking me up, snarled Naruto. Sakura said, it is your fault, Baka. You're asleep, walker and heavy sleeper. Kakashi cut in, believe us, Naru. You're asleep. Walker to the max. A violent one at that. When we tried to wake you up, you made harsh remarks and threw blows one after another. We were about to tie you to the bed. Sakura and Sasuke both gave a nod of agreement. Whatever, scowled Naruto, let's just train. Kakashi sighed, okay, today we will learn how to use collaboration techniques. Sakura grinned since she understood Kakashi's point, while Sasuke and Naruto appeared intrigued. Kakashi continued, these collaboration techniques are techniques that support other techniques to make them more powerful. This act needs pre-existing techniques, in which acted upon the same time, will become a greater power as the techniques combine and become one. So does that mean that you can actually combine techniques? Asked Naruto, holding up her hand. Kakashi answered, of course. In this collaboration technique that I will teach you, it will need both ninjutsu and shurikenjutsu. It's called Blazing Shuriken Dance. One person will throw shuriken at the offender or opponent while the other does a kaiden jutsu to inflame the shuriken, making the shuriken 10 times more offensive. Wait, this collaboration jutsu only requires 2 people, but isn't this a teamwork project? Sakura raised her hand this time. Correct and correct. Actually, I'm going to pull you out, Sakura, Kakashi replied. Because I'm the weak link of this team, Sakura scowled. Aware of her thoughts, Kakashi instructed her to remain motionless while he created a shadow clone. Naruto opened her mouth and furrowed her brow. Naruto shut her mouth when Kakashi interrupted, saying, I also know the shadow clone technique too, Naru. Sakura followed the real Kakashi to the lake area, while Naruto and Sasuke followed the clone to the plain. Why do we need to separate from the rest? Sakura scowled. Because I'm going to teach you your technique early. Which will you choose? A jutsu I recommend or a jutsu that you choose, replied Kakashi. Whoa, this early? She asked, twitching and thinking, maybe I should learn some jutsu, but I'm not sure. No, I'm not interested. Hurry and make your decision right away, Sakura remarked. Shut up. What do you know? Sakura remarked, I'll just accept the dumb recommendation. Sakura said, sure, I'll get the recommendation from the outside. Great. I think you should be taught the basics of medic ninjutsu. Sakura arched her brow and recited a passage from a book she had read. Medic ninjutsu, ninja who specialize in medical treatment and use of medical-oriented techniques to heal others. Me? You don't sound so confident in yourself, Sakura, said Kakashi. Sakura's head sulked. She exposed her depression by asking, wasn't that why you called me here? Because I'm the weakest link. Kakashi smiled and said, of course not. You can become the strongest link if you do so in being a medic.nin. I chose you to be the medic.nin in this team because of your excellent chakra control. And did you know, it's pretty rare for an in-built team to have a medic.nin in it. So to sum it up, if you would be Team 7's official medic.nin, you would be our team's base, in which being the strongest, keeping us all together. At Kakashi's lengthy compliment, Sakura blushed shyly and smiled broadly. I will accept your recommendation, Kakashi. Sensei, she said sharply as she turned to face him with greater assurance. Sakura, who had gained confidence, smiled back at Kakashi, who said, then let's get started. With Sasuke and Naruto yelled, what are we gonna do, Kakashi? Sensei? And asked Kakashi directly. We are going to start on our collaboration jutsu, stated Kakashi. Then why'd Sakura-chan go the other way with your clone? Or is it the other way around? Naruto asked. Kakashi explained, I'm the clone, but Sakura is training separately for something special. Even though Sasuke was incredibly grateful for what Kakashi had done for him, he frowned and thought, I should be the one he should be training the Sharingan on. So how are we gonna do this? Inquired Naruto. Let me make a shadow clone first. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, was Kakashi's response. A clone was discovered. Wait, clones could make other clones? Asked Naruto. The Kakashi clone pointed to the other Kakashi clone and said, has half of my chakra, making him have a fourth of the real Kakashi's chakra. Kakashi's eye grinned and said, yeah, but the clones that we clones make are much more weaker, by half, in comparison. However, because the real Kakashi made one clone, me, that means our chakra is split in half. Naruto ingrained that knowledge in her mind, ensuring that it would be useful in the future. As Kakashi stood in a powerful stance to demonstrate his process, she and Sasuke nodded their heads once more. The two Kakashi clones were in their proper positions and prepared. He was in a plain, dirt field when the first Kakashi clone began to throw shuriken quickly. The next one yelled, Kaden, Gokakyu no Jutsu, and proceeded to educate the shuriken while making the lethal projectiles even more lethal. It's actually a pretty easy collaboration technique to master. Kakashi stated, now, I want you, Sasuke, to show me your Kaden skills. With a cocky smirk, Sasuke exclaimed, Kaden, Gokakyu no Jutsu, and a huge ball of fire burst from his wide mouth. The humidity reached far from where Kakashi and Naruto were standing, and it inflamed an area the size of a medium-sized house, which was pretty amazing for a genin. Sasuke's fireball was impressive, especially for a genin, according to Kakashi's analysis. The fireball is roughly 15 feet tall, 11 feet wide, and 19 feet long from its tail to its coma. At last, Sasuke completed the jutsu, breathing a bit louder than usual. The fireball's hold time is roughly 13 seconds. He will lose the same amount of chakra if he holds it for that long, so his maximum ability to perform this jutsu is about 6 to 8 times, Kakashi thought once more. Cursing herself for being impressed, Naruto's eyes widened. Now, Naruto, I need you to take out any shuriken you have and throw them at the tree as a target. Make sure to hit the tree only, Kakashi said with an eye smile before turning to face Naruto. Naruto squinted her eyes and nodded intently. She removed all 8 of her shuriken and inserted one into each of the lines of her finger creases. She hurled them in a X shape, intercrossing them to perfectly align them while also pointing straight ahead, after cursing them inwards to her chest. Every shuriken struck the tree in precisely the same spot. She gave Sasuke a cocky smile and smirk. Kakashi recalled with nostalgia the rivalry and love-hate relationship between Naruto and Sasuke. A small part of Kakashi knew that Sasuke missed his relationship with Naruto, even though he had left the village. Wow, great job, guys. Kakashi said without an effort, we'll get started right away now. I have analyzed your skills and firstly, Sasuke, you can hold on your fireball for about 13 seconds. I can tell that it still gives you a chakra drain because, first and foremost, you're still a genin. However, you do have a large capacity of chakra in you, which a normal genin doesn't have. This led me to believe that the maximum times you can do this jutsu is about 6 to 8 times without a break. Kakashi finished his analysis on Sasuke, then said, now, Naruto. Naruto perked up when her name was called. From the time we first started on with you Bukajutsu skills, you have grown tremendously. Hitting the tree while lining up your shuriken is amazingly good for a genin. However, the only problem is the number of shuriken you have on you. Now, an average genin weapons pouch can hold up to 8 shuriken, but we may need more in times of need. The answer to this is Kage Shuriken no Jutsu. Naruto asked eagerly, you mean I'll learn a new jutsu, Kakashi, sensei? When Kakashi said, yup, Naruto leapt to his feet. After hearing about new jutsu, Sasuke proceeded directly to the location where Kakashi and Naruto were. According to Kakashi, for this technique, alongside Sakura, let's start with basic medic jutsu, Sakura. Here, I have a scroll that contains 2 basicish medic ninjutsu. They are healing technique and mystical palm technique. Honestly, I don't really know anything about medic ninjutsu, but I do know the basics. Kakashi lazily stated as he pondered his the Anbu. Sakura eagerly opened the scroll that Kakashi had given her, revealing the 2 techniques within. It demonstrated the fundamentals of how to learn the healing technique. She read out loud, by gathering healing chakra to the palms of your hands and concentrating the chakra, a healing chakra sphere will then be used to move over the conflicted areas on a patient's body. Sakura's eyes widened at the idea that something as simple as a jutsu could save someone's life. Perhaps this is what I'm looking for, Sakura continued. When he saw Sakura, Kakashi thought of Rin and said, if Rin could do it when she was a genin, then Sakura can. Before she continued reading, he said, the mystical palm technique is an A-rank ninjutsu. I put it there because I believed you could do it, but do not push through your limits. After Sakura thanked Kakashi with a smile, he said, but let's go fishing first before you do anything else. Sakura's eyebrows went up. Whoa, I succeeded. Both created roughly 30 shuriken clones, which is pretty amazing for the first day of training, and were commended by Kakashi. Clone, Naruto said, and Sasuke grinned at his accomplishment. Now, let's go begin the collaboration jutsu, said the Kakashi. Clone. Sasuke performed the jutsu's quick hand signals first, followed by your great fireball technique. Kakashi then gave Naruto the order, now, Naruto, throw 6 shuriken and multiply them all by 5. Naruto followed instructions. Kakashi whistled, wow, not so shabby for the first time. Naruto and Sasuke both smiled genuinely as the targeted tree was set on fire and perfectly aimed. Kakashi nodded his head in approval and said, now, let's do it again. Everyone was sore after Team 7's final team training session, and Naruto moaned in agony as she trudged to Tsunami's house to get Kakashi's attention. Do you need help, Naru? After giving him a quick glance, she moved in front of him and held up her hands, requesting a lift. Kakashi's perspiration fell and lifted her. Him too. Kakashi turned to face Sakura, who coughed again, and he sighed. Sakura also raised her hands, realizing that he had 2 people to carry. Sakura on his shoulders and Naruto in front of him. Kakashi glanced at Sasuke, who blushed slightly and grunted. Sasuke, would you like to be carried as well? Kakashi asked. Kakashi sighed appreciatively, since it would be nearly impossible for him to carry Sasuke alone if he also had to. Sasuke turned his head and grunted once more. Well, there will be other opportunities to get Sasuke to open up from his stoic shell. Kakashi shrugged his shoulders. Wakey, awake, Sakura and Naru. Kakashi pulled the blankets from the 2 girls' clutches, causing them to fall off their beds. Sakura was in inner Sakura mode, and Naruto's eyes were red from not getting enough sleep. Oh, Kakashi said when he realized he was in serious trouble, recalling another instance in which he woke up the 2 girls in the same manner. In the end, he was unable to use the restroom without painkillers for a month. Naruto's right hand shot up with all 5 fingers up and ready to count down, and he knew he had 5 seconds to run. I better leave, he said, shuddering at the thought, even though Sakura and Naruto were still 12. Going on 13-year-olds, but you never know. Kakashi hurried out the door in record time, saying, see ya, bye. That man's nerves. Sakura let out a scream. Hold on, Kakashi. Sensei. While half asleep, Naruto uttered the words, watch your back until you see it coming. Hearing all of this from the outside crack of the door, Kakashi whispered to himself, I think I'll take your advice, Naru. After 30 minutes, good morning to all of you, Datbeo. When Naruto saw the food centered on the dining table, she joyfully yelled out. With a weary sigh, Kakashi reflected, this girl was threatening her own sensei just 30 minutes ago. Must be that time of the month. How can she be a morning person when she was just threatening sensei? Was Sakura's similar thought. Sasuke simply gazed at the food that was presented to him. In an attempt to lift everyone's spirits, Tsunami clapped her hands together and said, let's eat, everyone. They all said, Itadakimasu, Day 6. Jutsu no Kage Bunshin. Kakashi shouted out. 2 extra Kakashi. Clones appears, now, making 3 Kakashis altogether. The students of the team frowned curiously at the Kakashis, who just smiled towards them. Kakashi started to explain, today, you will all have separate teachers. I can manage you guys just as well now that I have this chance. Go with me. Me, Sasuke. Sakura will be the clone on the left, and Naruto will be the clone on my right. Oh, and don't forget to keep your weights on because today's training will be different. Keep in mind that there are just 2 days left to receive the reward. All students exuded confidence as they said, I need to leave those dumb so-called D-raked missions. They enthusiastically nodded. Naruto noticed that her weights were yellow, and Kakashi noticed theirs as well. Sasuke. Yours is already a light green. This must mean you're at 35 pounds, Kakashi remarked. You must weigh around 25 pounds, Sakura, because yours is at the shy of green. Yours is firmly green, Naruto. You ought to weigh about 30 pounds. Comparing hers and Sasuke's, Naruto smirked at her response and growled when he saw how much heavier Sasuke's was. Alright, everyone, let's go. Each of the 3 Kakashis said the same thing, and they all left. Alongside Sasuke. What are we going to do, Kakashi? Sensei? Asked Sasuke as he and Kakashi entered a clearing. Today, I will be teaching you on how to learn how to use your Sharingan. Kakashi opened his eyes and waited for Sasuke's response. Without a Sharingan, how are you going to accomplish that? He asked. When Kakashi raised his height to reveal his scarred Sharingan eye, Sasuke's eyes widened significantly. How did you manage to obtain Uchiha property? Sasuke demanded answers. The idea of a foreigner from the Uchiha possessing a Sharingan, or perhaps even another survivor, chilled Sasuke's blood. Relax, Sasuke, this Sharingan was not stolen, but exclusively given from a person I once held dear. Kakashi thought bitterly, but that's a story for another time. With a frown still on his face, Sasuke gave in when Kakashi said, today, with your Sharingan, I'll teach you a jutsu. Kakashi maintained a serious expression while saying, the jutsu I am about to teach you is called Genjutsu. Sharingan. With a perplexed expression, Sasuke said, teach me well. Kakashi smirked, to start, you will, of course, have to activate your Sharingan. Alongside Sakura, Kakashi reminded Sakura, remember, you can't succeed this medic training unless you get that fish to properly breathe. Yes. Sakura said with assurance. She directed her chakra into her hands, making sure it reached the fish, because often the jutsu would collapse when it didn't reach the fish properly. Sweat smeared her face and stained it, because her entire focus was on healing the freshwater fish. After learning how to properly release her medic chakra with the help of the seal beneath the fish, inner, Sakura encouraged her, saying, come on, Sakura. You can do it. Do it for Sasuke-kun. Sakura became so determined that she eventually managed to get the fish to breathe again. Sakura exclaimed, I did it, as she wiped the perspiration from her brow. Defeat that Ino.pig. She then recalled that someone else was nearby. Oh, she said, sheepishly scratching her head. Kakashi remarked, it's okay, it's not like Sasuke's here anyways. Sakura roared with laughter, since she could be herself for the moment without fear of criticism. Alongside Naruto, the words, we'll have to work on your taijutsu skills today, Naru, came from Kakashi. As if the classroom were packed, Naruto raised her hand frantically and said, wait, Kakashi. Sensei, I have a question. What do you want to know? He answered. What gives you the name Naru? She asked. Kakashi scowled as he considered an explanation, saying, well, because your name's too long. However, every other person's name contains the same number of letters. Yours has 3 syllables. Na.ru.to. Sa. Ku. Ra. Kakashi responded, "Do you want to train or not is what the question should be." Naruto opened her mouth to respond, but was unable to do so. Ha. Kakashi sneered. Kakashi simply smilled and ruffled Naruto's hair while Naruto scowled and puffy cheeked, hissing, "Don't make it even wilder, Datbeo. This morning, I was too busy to comb it." After a long moment of laughing at her face, he said, "Anyway, let's get started." Kakashi thought, bipolar much, and then he said out loud, "To be honest, your taijutsu needs to be, well, thought out more." She completely changed her attitude. "If you've ever fought someone, I've seen that you run to them and then strike them as hard as you can. Due to the ease with which a free opening can be left, this technique can be highly risky." Naruto concentrated on what Kakashi had just said, believing it to be true. "What can I do, Kakashi, sensei? What you need to do is to do what I teach you properly," he said with a smile behind his mask. He grinned more broadly now as she gave him a questioning look. "Today, you'll try to master clone body blow. After 3 hours Naru, you've already completed half of this training. Fantastic work," Kakashi inspired. Naruto's expression was sincere. Kakashi. Sensei." She rushed toward him, arms wide open. "I'm still a clone, Naru. Wait." When Naruto leapt to embrace him, his warning was ignored. Poof. "What?" Out loud, Naruto pondered. Kakashi. Sensei. Where have you gone?" "Oh, yes." In order to create another clone, she rushed to the real Kakashi. Today's analysis. Sasuke, you're amazing. In just a few hours, you learned Genjutsu. Sharingan. Sakura, you are amazing. You have mastered the art of healing fish and are now rapidly progressing to the healing technique. Naruto, you are amazing. You quickly adjusted to and mastered a taijutsu stance. I already knew that I had a great group of genins, but this is excellent. Even though it was a little cold in Wave, everyone felt warm, and all the genins either smiled or tried to hide their smiles. With her arms firmly in the crook of her neck, Naruto yelled, "Well, I better get going." "Where are you going, Dobi?" asked Sasuke. Furious, Naruto said, "I'm going somewhere. Teme." She walked sluggishly toward a clearing. Kakashi sighed, "Naruto, will you continue to train?" She responded, "No, I'm going to go run." "Same thing," Kakashi said, turning to face his students. "Do any of you want to run as well?" In an attempt to make them feel bad, Kakashi sighed, "Fine, let's go train again. Even though I'm hungry and tired." However, the effect didn't work, and Kakashi was still experiencing the chakra drain from creating an extra clone because of Naruto. Sakura and Sasuke both nodded that they wanted a chance to be the ones to get the team out of D-ranked missions. Kakashi trudged to his student's location and said, "Whatever." Sakura thought, "Sheesh, it's not like it's a race, but whatever, go Sasuke.kun." As she ran to the running field and saw Naruto and Sasuke running as though they were in a race.
That's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this great story. See you in the next one.